This isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Brad Shaw and Dan Chichagash. Buckle in. The show starts now.
And welcome to a brand new episode of Crush This, the Monster Truck. Cheech, what are you doing? My first show back in a little bit, and you're doing this again. It never gets old. Welcome to Crush This, the Monster Truck podcast, everybody. My name is Bradshaw, also known as the one and only Monster Truck Canucker, back once again. And with me, as always, crewman extraordinaire, videographer extraordinaire for the Hall Brothers. Tune in on Tuesday. Go check it out. Mr. Dan Cheech. Gosh. Dan, how's it going, buddy?
I just found out that Tony Pizza Rolls and Chick-fil-A sauce is bomb.com.
Dude, I want a Chick-fil-A in Canada. I want it, man.
You should. Why don't you get a franchise?
Dude, okay. The town that I live in, the closest the closest Taco Bell is 3.5 hours away. We're finally getting a Taco Bell where I live. Like, oh, dude, I'm way too excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, you should get one. I mean, I guess what, in Edmonton or what's your Alberta, right? Is that your
Yeah, the closest big town to us.
Aren't you like the third biggest town?
I think so. I know Calgary is a little bit bigger than Edmonton, but I think let me research that quickly, because it's a shame that there's no Taco Bell here, because Taco Bell is life. Taco Bell is love.
join the cult. Join Taco
I love
Bell
Taco Bell,
life.
dude. $20 can get you a crap ton of food, okay? And for a fat kid like me, it is heaven.
Yeah. Well, you know what's also full advantage of is if you live in a college town. College towns have all unique foods and different places to eat. So
see, we have
I go to Wingstop.
Okay, I'd love to try Wingstop.
Good stuff. I think it's better than Buffalo Wild Wings. I know it's better than Hooters.
I've never had Buffalo Wild Wings or Hooters either.
Okay. Anyway, back at the rant. Thank you to High Octane Coffee. While Brad's searching up if his town's the third biggest town in Edmonton, but thank you to High Octane Coffee, Joe Sylvester. Check out his monster truck outlaw drags that's coming up. J Concepts. They just officially came out with the Bigfoot 21 body and the decals. Also, no fact they also have a USA 1 RC decal set up for you too with the 1970 body, but you also can use the 88 Chevy body also. Back Channel Productions, the video group that does the Renegade Monster Truck Tour and Joe's Outlaw League, that does all awesome stuff. 6B Apparel, Chris and those guys have done an awesome job doing all of what they need. We have our crew shirts there, $100 a pop. Also, we are going to start selling hats. That was a secret deal that I was talking about doing. So we're going to have some Crush This hats. People may not know also that we have t-shirts too. Hey, Dad. That, they come around, below the collar.
Yeah, below the collar.com /Crush This podcast.
T-shirts. Yes, and those t-shirts are $25. I think $25, Brad. Yep. If you buy some of those, the 25, selling 25 of those, will get us a new design. Only problem is it takes a while for them to be made because it's made by order. So when you order the shirts, then they make the shirts for you. Also, there it is on the chat. You guys take a look at that. Also, JB Scale Graphics, official license for Bigfoot. Also, he's officially licensed with Bigfoot. Bad Habit, Obsessed, Against the Grain, the newest member of the group, the Ripper, and also Overkill Evolution. And shoot, there's a bunch more. Go check out jbscalegraphics.com. They also make flags for your RC truck, so he'll do what you need to do. And also, last but not least, Brad Shaw Designs. Take a look at all the stuff on the Renegade Monster Truck Tour, live in the flesh, baby. And last but not least, our next week's guest is Kimberly Cantoni. She is a announcer for Monster Jam. Well, I think she is. I don't know. But she also is a retired New York Jets cheerleader. So she talks a lot about football. And she also has her podcast too. I can't say it here. So it's about football. But the title's kind of weird. Anyway, that's our guest for next week. So Monster Jam announcer Kim Cantoni. But this week we have a pretty cool cast of characters here tonight. They are all part of the Throttle Out show, which you guys can check them out on YouTube, Facebook. Couple of them, actually, I personally know all three of them, which is crazy. Well, both of them have pretty cool dads, and the other one I helped in the industry. So let's bring them out here, Brad. That's Austin Spence, Austin Tweedy, and Harley Johnson.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, guys.
What up?
Brad, I just want to say,
Hi.
here in your intro in the pain, I have a 5-layer beefy burrito. I'd love to send it your way.
Wow.
See, like,
Why don't you
Taco
throw
Bell
it?
is
Yeah.
like, you know what? I've never had Chipotle, but I'll say this: Chipotle is probably worse than Taco Bell. Taco
Ooh.
Bell's the best.
I'm not crazy about Chipotle. I'm a Freebirds man myself. It's a little bit better, I think.
We only got
I like
Qdoba around here, but it's essentially the same thing.
We have a place in Canada called Mucho Burrito, which, you know, the only good thing about them is on Cinco. The only good thing about them, Cinco de Mayo, free burritos.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That sounds like
I'm a
hell of
Moe's
deal.
guy.
What?
Moe's. Welcome to Moe's. Moe's
Oh,
burrito.
Moe's Bar and Grill at the Simpsons. Hell yeah.
How you doing,
Is
Homer?
there a Seymour Butts? Seymour Butts here?
As you guys can tell, our show kind of just goes off the rails at times.
How cool is that? Austin, take another Spence. Take a drink of your Mountain Dew. Your green screen, duh,
Oh, did
is a
it?
can of the Mountain Dew. So when you drink,
That's my wife. Hi, babe.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm blocking
it's
my
a
wedding.
brand new Mountain Dew. It's called Wedding Dew.
Wedding dew.
Wedding Dew tastes like
The
cake.
Wedding Dew.
No, it's called honeydew. There we go.
Honeydew.
Trademark right there.
Oh,
All
man.
right.
So yeah, how are you guys doing? A lot of you guys have been busy with the Throttle Out show. How's that been going for you guys? And let's start off with, how was that created actually?
Well, I'll be completely honest with you. Last year around, around this time, we were all, laid off or let go. Austin was let go from Feld. We had to quit doing shows with the Pags, and it just completely ate at us. So the world started to come back to somewhat normal. Shows are popping back up, and we want to be a part of it, but we're pretty much settled down wherever we're at right now. And so this is our way of staying in touch with the industry, basically. We know we can stay in touch with some good people, some good drivers, some good crew guys, and it's really just a way for us to put on blast what goes on behind the scenes in the monster truck world. People want to know what's going on with the crew guys, and I think Monster Jam does a very poor job of displaying that. So I feel like that's one of our secret weapons in our arsenal.
How about you? So how did you guys all get together?
So it's kind of funny. So me and Tweety started working at Monster Jam at the exact same time. Like orientation day was the exact same day. And Tweety actually used my first day at Monster Jam for orientation as his best man speech at my wedding because I was running late to orientation. Not a very good first impression, but basically I was given very, very vague directions as to what garage door to take my toolbox in, and I have a
woke
big.
up late. Don't lie.
We just got done driving 16 hours straight from Michigan to
Here we
Florida.
go.
All right.
Here's the excuses.
No, so I get a hold of one of the managers. I'm like, hey, I think I'm at the right door. Like, is someone going to come out and like get my toolbox? And no, that said manager wasn't responding to my messages. I tried calling them, tried calling the front office. Finally, get a hold of me, and I'm like, I got 5 minutes before I got to be at the in the conference room up front. And they finally come and grab my toolbox, and they're like, aren't you running a little late for orientation? I said yes, and I like had peeled out, pulled in a parking spot, and I bolted through the glass doors to even say hi to the receptionist. And I run into the room like out of breath, and this is like Tweety's first impression of me. Like, there's just this big stocky dude is just like barged into the damn conference room.
Out of breath.
Out of breath. I was wheezing. I'm like, are these water bottles free? And I just start chugging a water bottle.
Like, what a good first impression. Just all of a sudden you just see him bust through the door. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and essentially best friends ever since.
Exactly. I actually introduced Tweety to you guys. So Tweety lived like at a good halfway point, because I lived all the way up in Tampa, like literally 2 blocks away from Raymond James Stadium. We had an apartment up there, and Tweety lived some like middle mark on the way down 75 to get to Palmetto. So we started carpooling together. Well, we started actually listening to you guys on Crush This, and we just started having like we were cracking up at some of the conversations you guys were having. I think my favorite by far was the Mike, good Lord.
Mike Wine.
Thank you, Mike Wine. I want to say Mike Wells for whatever reason, but it's Mike Wine. Yeah, the Mike Wine stories.
Oh, dude, recording those episodes with Mike is some of the funnest times ever. Like, I remember the story he told about getting into Dennis Anderson's hotel room. That was one of the best ones he ever told.
I was really into the
wallet.
No, the where he was getting in trouble for taking like parts off of crush cars to fix Old Outlaw.
Oh yeah,
like, I thought that was great. Like, you don't see that nowadays. I mean, there's no crush cars. Well, actually, no crush cars at all at Monster Jam that you can really use parts off of.
Except if you run at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Dude, that's gonna be so
none of those
sweet.
cars probably have anything.
No, I mean, they're gonna be buried underneath like 5 feet of dirt anyway.
But still, that's going to be an amazing show.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wish we were there. We mapped it out. I thought Atlanta was a lot closer here than what it is, but
No, it's like 12
yeah.
hours away.
Yeah,
or
we ain't
something.
gonna make
It's a lot closer for you guys than it would be me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Start walking, Tweety.
The sad thing is, if Tweety started walking, he would still beat Brad even if he's flying. That's how far Brad is from the world. Like, every single second, he should wear an Eskimo gear, like a hat, a jacket.
Okay,
pants,
Might I add,
random penguins.
it was 15 degrees Celsius today, which is perfect t-shirt and short weather.
what that means.
What's what is that in American? Because
Let me look.
Translate.
Fahrenheit, not American. Fahrenheit.
no American.
It would be,
I didn't know
it would be
the temperature of America.
around 60 degrees.
60 degrees.
So it's
Okay.
60 degrees American.
So wait, it's 60 degrees
It was
today
like
for you?
30
'Cause
something here.
it is 30 degrees and snowing for me right
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry.
I hate it. I miss Florida.
In America. Like, Austin Spence lives in America. The rest of
Yeah,
us live somewhere
America.
else. And Brad lives in Canada. So some of us in America call it Fahrenheit, but there's American temperature.
Jeez.
What time is it in America? America time.
It's America time.
You ever seen Tropic Thunder?
Oh, I love
yeah.
that movie.
There's some guys who speak American up here, damn it.
Okay, for me to walk to Atlanta, it would be 832 hours.
What?
Oh
Oh,
my
walking.
You
Oh,
got
okay.
time.
Okay, yeah.
To drive, it would be 41 hours.
Mm,
Mm.
nope, not doing it.
That's
How about
basically
hovercraft?
over a month by hovercraft.
See,
Crash by
which it's
hovercraft.
about 4,200 kilometers, which would be in miles. Let's see here. It'd be 2,600 miles.
2,600. That's not bad. That's a travel. But
That's
I
great.
got an even
That's a
better
pretty
way.
good way to in shape.
Yeah, but I got an even better way for you, Brad, and it's even green. Just get yourself a radio flyer wagon. Find yourself a really big 8-scale RC car. Make sure you have a couple extra charged batteries and set sail.
Oh my god, that'd be fun.
You might
It
make it
had
out of your
it had to
county.
be powerful. It had to be powerful because I'm a big boy.
You need to get yourself a ruckus.
There you go.
2-wheel ruckus, Honda ruckuses, and you'd be like Dumb and
dude,
Dumber.
I'd love that.
That'd be great. So so we're off the beaten rabbit path here.
Already.
So you guys, how did the format happen? Like you guys talked about it, like you guys wanted to do what, how did you guys come up with this idea?
Say, that's all on you.
Yeah, that's all on Tweety.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't even know because we were talking before the show. We just stated that our format has actually changed. Gosh, it seems bi-weekly. We're always changing stuff. Originally, like the very first episode's me talking on top of my toolbox with a blanket over it. And that's even just recently changed to the setup that we have now.
You're sitting on a cooler.
Yeah, I was sitting. Yeah, I was trying to make it seem like I was sitting on a bar stool. So I had our dining room chair with my damn lunch cooler on top of it, so I get that height that I needed. But I just wanted it to be something where some guys who work on the trucks, we're looking at what's happening now in the industry and we're reporting it almost as if it's news. Now, don't get me wrong. We've done episodes, obviously, where we're talking to drivers or other crew guys and we're talking about, stories in the past and whatnot. But eventually I do want to get back to that and just be more like we are reporting the news, but for monster trucks. And I thought it would be great to have somebody like Austin Spence come on the air. He's great talking on camera, very knowledgeable of the industry. You got a pretty face like this one over here, who, by the by, is actually the show owner. A lot of people don't know that, but she owns the show. So, yeah, well, like I said, we're changing stuff every week.
And I think, with doing the news kind of puts you guys in a different category with all the different podcasts around, like I remember when we first started, we were trying to do that, but then we were like, you know what? The format that we find worked best is what we do now, after the show, having a couple beers, kind of talk, and I think that's what makes you guys different, because you guys are reporting the news. Even with Instagram, you guys are always posting, updates on shows. If you're at a show or if something breaking happens, you guys are right on that, which I love to see that.
Well, and another thing is, as a kid, I idolized a man known as Ron Burgundy. So I still really want to be like him whenever I grow up. So anything I can do to get closer to being Ron Burgundy.
Harley, how many subscribers do we have to get him to dress up as Ron Burgundy for a show?
Ooh.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh. Should we just make it like 100 subscribers? He's going to dress up as
We
Ron.
need 25 more. We are at 75 right now on YouTube.
Oh.
We just need 25 more.
Start liking. Click the like button.
Go subscribe.
Share,
Go subscribe now.
like.
Halloween edition.
But then, how about this? Austin Spence has to be another character from Anchorman. He has to be, he's got to do something too.
He should dress up like an eggnog for Brad.
Just a giant carton of eggnog just running around. I mean, I love eggnog, so I'll do it.
And just start dancing. No.
Well, I mean, check it out. Ron Burgundy, Veronica Corningstone, and then we've got is it Champ Kind? Is that his name?
Yeah.
And
Whammy.
Yeah. Really easy.
And then Cheech will just be in the corner with a lamp. I love lamp.
I'm not part of this. I'm not even part of this.
Too late. You started it. One of the things that we wanted that I'm really happy I was able to do was go to the Monsters Invade Butler for the big parade that they had down there. I was able to catch that and live stream.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. How was
I had
that?
a blast.
That seemed like a pretty good turnout.
I had an absolute blast. So me and my wife Katie, we stayed at the high school, which was like a good middle point for the entire parade route. I was under the impression, I'm sure a lot of people were too, that they were going to be driving the trucks the entire 2 miles, but probably wouldn't have enough fuel to fuel all the trucks. But it was a bunch of big rigs. It was such a cool turnout in order to see it. And by the time we got over to the actual location for the new museum, which by the way, it has like the Midwest trifecta. So where the new Hall of Fame is, you have a McDonald's, a Dollar General, and a gas station, all within a block of each other, the Hall of Fame. So everything you need is right there. So you could camp out for the entire weekend in your car for the Hall of Fame. But when we got there, the wife had to run into the bathroom for personal reasons. And I'm sitting outside and you hear all the trucks fire up. They're like a little bit down the road. They actually got them off the trailers and they did kind of like a drive down the road to the actual location for pit party. And what's funny about that is that road is actually called Main Street. So for the first time in forever, there were actually monsters on Main Street.
Dot, 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 dot. But still, that's pretty cool. Can you name a couple of the trucks there? I knew that they debuted the Reptoid truck with the new PEI chassis on it, which stamps.
Oh, that thing looks sick too.
Oh, it was such a good looking truck. I tried to talk to as many people as I could, but I'm still learning a little bit more about the history, so I don't know many people. But there, obviously, I saw Barefoot. I saw the Hercules truck that was recently just done. War Wagon was there. Reptoid, both Predators. I mean, it was just a really, really good turnout. And then Dave Reif, the Michigan Dave Reif, he had I think 2 of his ride trucks. The one that looks like Skeletor, and I think it's called Above All or Above the Rest or
Above the
something like
Rest.
that. Yeah, which I've never seen a ride truck with zoomies before. That I wish BKT had zoomies sticking through the hood like that thing. That would have been so much fun.
Hey, Austin, next time you need to do is go up to people. Like, so just to say you see Alan Pizzo, you go up to him and shake his hand saying, "What's your name?" "My name's Alan Pizzo." And then they look at you like, "Hey, that's my name." And you're like, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm Austin Spence." And then you go to the next guy and you're like, "What's your name?" "Jim Kramer." "My name's Jim Kramer too." No, I'm just kidding. It's Austin Spence. I did that the first Hall of Fame. I went ahead and met drivers saying their first name and all gave me weird looks, which, I mean, they laughed at it. But is what it is.
You know, I think with the Hall of Fame, it's provided, a place where the history can live on. Look at the trucks that have been rebuilt and restored. You got Taurus, I believe Taurus 3, Equalizer. It's kind of spawned what's happening now, even with Bigfoot 4, Bigfoot 8. It's something that at the time was perfect, and it still is. And now that they're going to have their own building, it's amazing to see what's happening with the Hall of Fame.
It's going to be huge for what they're wanting to do with it, and I cannot wait to see what happens. This is like a goal of mine. So I've been watching like the Trigger King stuff and everything like that. I've always wanted to build an RC car, and Dan Agash hasn't really helped because I follow your RC stuff on Instagram all the time, and I'm just constantly jealous. But that was one of the cool things I loved about, seeing the videos on YouTube with the old open house was they would have like, these RC races, the RC challenges, you have the model building. So it's not just about the trucks. Like it's just everything that has to do with the industry. But one of my goals is to finish building my Venom truck and hopefully kick Cheech's ass one of these days.
Oh, throw it down the gauntlet.
There's no shit talking on my behalf because you probably could win because I just do it for fun. So, but I would say don't be next to me because I'm gonna take you out. So I mean, you're gonna.
What are you gonna do? Go for my ankles?
Not take you out. I'll just bite your ankles or something like that, or I'll just outrun you. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're side by side with me, I'm gonna take you out. You go ask Mr. Bob Chandler, Junior. It seems like every single time I race against him, I take him out. I peed, meaning I was in his lane, so I just disqualified. But his truck gets taken out. And first of all, you have to build your truck, Austin. Until then, you got none.
Yeah, right now I just got a body and a chassis.
Can't talk shit when you got nothing. It's like one of those the cancel people. You can't do that. Well, did you do it? No. Then you can't tell me what to do.
That's fair.
Oh, little comment for Levi Shones there. Gonna suck when your wheel tides aren't on the RC Spence.
Oh, come on, Levi. Don't do me
Ooh.
dirty like that. He's
Thank
actually
you,
been one of the.
Levi. Thank you,
Dog you
Levi.
out.
Yeah. I got backup, Boston. What you got?
Actually, Levi is the one that's been trying to get me like a parts list together of all the things I need, because I'm like, I know engines and transmissions and like actual like car parts, but when I'm looking at like this RC stuff, it's like looking at a computer. Like I have no idea what I'm looking at. I don't know what is good, what is bad. For all I know, I'm going to put this thing together and it's going to catch on fire.
Well, are you gonna try to make your truck a pro mod or a smart mod?
The thing is, I don't really know the difference. I just want to be able to be competitive and just have fun with it.
Now it's gonna be some teaching time. Time to take you boy to school. So a pro mod is unlimited. KV all the way up. You're probably running a shafty, so that has drive shafts and stuff like that. I don't know if you're running anything like a quad setup, but the motors that you go in the pro mod is unlimited. A sport mod, you only can go to a 17 turn motor. That's it. 17 turn, and it has to be brushed. That's all on the sport mod. Sport mod's a hell of a lot cheaper to build compared to a pro mod. My Hotsy and Wildside are almost like they're expensive. I think $1,200, $1,200 RC
As
trucks.
a pro mod?
Just because of the just because of the electrical stuff.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's expensive.
Still, it's not too bad. I mean,
No,
compared
but
to a real
it's
truck.
cheaper. Yeah. Well, for a shafty and stuff like that, it's good for you anyway. So there's some cool stuff. So I mean, are you going with a Suburban or are you going with the Escalade body?
I already got it done. It's actually on my Instagram. I went with the 71 or 72 Suburban body. It is the wrap that I designed myself for Beam and G. So it's done. I just kept it in the box to like, just preserve it kind of, because I don't want anything to like scratch it until I actually start using it. I even got what is it? Is it because they're running, I believe, Michelin? No, they're running Firestone. So I got the Firestorm tires. I just need to figure out how to get stickers small enough for my tires that will say the not BKT to actually match the real truck.
Go to JB Scale Graphics. Yeah, go to them and they'll take care of you.
All right.
Tell them that Cheech did not send me here.
Cheech did not send me here.
Yeah. I always like that'd be a funny ad. Like you can just tell them I didn't send you and get like a prize. You won the jackpot, mofo. Ring, ring, ring. But still, I mean, Austin, you've been to the Hall of Fame before, haven't you?
Me? No, actually, I've never been to the Hall of Fame. There's actually been two failed attempts to go to the Hall of Fame, and it just didn't work out. No, I've never been. I really want to go. When we were talking with our guest who'll be on our show, I guess next week or so, Gene Patterson, he was telling us some stuff about the Hall of Fame that really got me interested. He was saying, the first Hall of Fame was huge. He goes, the second one, or the one that they're moving into, it's not that big. It's more like you're moving out of like a Walmart into the Dollar General, but the catch is you own the Dollar General, so you can do whatever you want with it. So I'm pretty pumped for it. I'm glad that we have a Monster Truck Hall of Fame. It's huge for our sport, and I obviously want to be a part of it and see it grow. I guess I need to sign up and do that little member thing that they got and do what we can to help support the Hall of Fame.
I actually just signed up for that, so I'm just waiting for my newsletter and pin to come in.
Yep. I mean, for I've been there about four times, and every single year I've been there was just pretty cool. I mean, also the MTRA joins in, so you have a chance to go watch an MTRA meeting, talk about safety and stuff like that. But the Friday night is a huge gathering. There's some old school monster trucks playing in the background. They have the RC Classic runs, and then you can bring out a sport mod or a pro mod to do a little freestyle run. People display their trucks left and right, debuts of new race trucks, not new race trucks, but old race trucks coming back. And you just talk to your heroes. And then the Saturday after that, so a lot of the guys. The funny thing with the Hall of Fame is after the meet and greet, everyone goes to like their local Steak and Shake or Cracker Barrel and just sit around and just BS that way, telling jokes and stuff like that. And then the Saturday they have another meet and greet, the question and answer portion, and then you go to the banquet, and then you have the what is that? What? Mike Hedman, the Steak and Shake's closed down. I ain't coming back to the Hall of Fame. Screw it. Never mind. I'm done. I'm just kidding. That sucks. But then they have a auction. And basically the auction's between Deal Wilson and Mike Vaughters. So if you're gonna try to get anything from them, good luck, because they're gonna probably outbid each other for whatever they want.
Really?
But it's fun. It's a good time. Yeah. A lot of joking around, and then you'll get to meet Mike Wine. He's a riot. But if anyone has a chance to go to the Hall of Fame, take it. It's an experience. It is an awesome experience.
So this will be my first time going. I literally just like 15 minutes before I joined the call, I literally just bought my 2 tickets to go to the grand opening of the new building, because they didn't obviously have the building opening for the parade. It was just like everyone just met in the parking lot, had some food, got to hang out and everything. So I'm pretty excited. They're doing stuff with like they have some stuff from the Pontiac Silverdome, which that was like my entire childhood growing up was going to that venue. And that's obviously where this kind of all started, was the big car crush at the Pontiac Silverdome during a tractor pull with Bigfoot. So I'm pretty jacked about seeing that and seeing what that's all about. But since you guys so I actually have a question. Cheech, you'll probably be more one to answer. So we asked Gene Patterson about it, but the 4-wheel jamboree canceling monster trucks, like, what do you guys feel about that?
Brad, if you have anything to say.
Yeah. So, growing up in the 90s, Penda series, Penda Point series, always at the jamborees. That was like, there's 2 things that I was excited for on TNN was NHRA drag racing and the Penda Point series. Those were my 2 favorite things. The jamborees and monster trucks are linked in history. And I don't know who owns them now, but I just think it's ridiculous. Saying that, mega trucks are better for it. And I love mega trucks, don't get me wrong, but the jamborees need monster trucks. People associate jamborees and monster trucks and the jamborees. It's ridiculous. In my opinion, it's bullshit. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It's like going to McDonald's and you can't get a Big Mac.
Yeah.
I got a story to tell you about McDonald's. I'm sorry. A quick sorry. We were going to Oklahoma, which I'll tell you guys about that show. We went to this like in the turnpikes. They have those not rest areas, but places that would have the McDonald's and Subway and stuff like that along the highway. So we turn in there and we go, and Tim asks for a number 7. I don't know what number, 2 cheeseburgers. Okay. Get cheeseburgers and fries. We get to the rig. He opens it up. The guy forgot to put the burger, and all he got was 2 buns. And
The burger.
and he was like,
we just got buns.
just the cheese and the buns. That's it. The cheese and the bun. No burger. That's it. And I had to come back and he's like, okay, all right. So you messed this up. He's like, oh man, my bad. And I was like, what? Yeah, man, my bad. I was like, excuse me, could you put the bun on? Yeah, man, just let me get it cooked and stuff. And I was like, I was trying to look at him because he was like this. I don't know if his eyes are open or stuff like that, but he just kept on mumbling and talking, and he was like, yeah, man, it burning me up in a moment. And I was like, what?
Sounds like Boomhauer from Hank Hill. Or King of the Hill.
He's like,
dang old cheeseburger, man. Down by buns.
he's like, your burger coming in a moment. All right. Hey, grab me. Give him a burger back. And I was like, oh, all right, and gave it to Tim. And Tim was like, this is the worst McDonald's ever. Let's go. And I was like, okay.
As somebody that has worked at McDonald's, that just no. No.
It was funny.
How do you forget the meat?
How can you forget a freaking burger patty?
Harley, did you ever forget to put coffee in somebody's drink and just put the whipped cream on top?
No,
Come on.
no, never.
Oh my gosh.
So I
No,
guess I'll say my 2 cents about this 4-wheel drive jamboree. So like Levi's saying, the company's Bonnier that owns this jamboree stuff, and I guess I gotta watch what I'm saying. I think I think it's dumb. The excuses that they were saying about the monster trucks on how the attendance was lacking, I have to question, because at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds, if anyone else was there, if they realized there were supposed to be 2 segments of Mega Mud Trucks and there's supposed to be 2 segments of Monster Truck Freestyle. So after the first segment of mud racing, they were done. We were already doing our second round of freestyle. After we were done with freestyle and the trucks were done, half of the people that were in the grandstands were already leaving. They thought the show was over with. And the Mega Mud Trucks were still doing their second part of the show. So the attendance excuse, I think, is bullcrap. There was people attendance all around. Now people are talking about how the show is lackluster. Don't blame that on the monster trucks. Blame that on the promoter. Blame that on the track builder. They made lame tracks. They didn't care that, to a point where when I was saying didn't care, the people that were running the tracks were asking the ownership what was going on. They kept on pausing until, they were like, okay, we'll just do what we need to do. And then the booking. You cannot blame on the monster trucks again on the booking. One, how can you eliminate a 10 truck field back in 2012, 13, 14, all the way up to maybe end of 17, you go to 8 trucks, and then last year you went to 6. I understand that the 6 of last year you guys were doing a rebuilding process because of all the transformations and all the people that are leaving and going out of the company and stuff like that. But if you're pushing the wrong group of people out of what you guys need to do as your moneymaker, and if you want to put monster trucks and Mega Mud Trucks, that's cool. A lot of people loved it when you had Class 5 and Class 6 mud racing. Now you're adding, and then you cut the tough trucks, which is basically one of the only forms of sports where these guys look forward to, these weekend warriors, these shade mechanics, these guys that work their tail off night in and night out to work on these tough trucks that just race for a weekend in their local area or do the whole Jamboree series. And you kind of take the rug and throw them out and just don't even care about it. And you put these country and rock band acts to make do for your Saturday night festivities. Like one person said, if I want to go to if I want to go to a concert, I go to a concert, not a 4-wheel drive jamboree and with concerts involved with it. All I have to say is good luck. But I mean, monsters are not going to die. I'm sorry, but last time I checked with the 4-wheel drive jamborees that, monster trucks can also sell out stadiums and they could be by themselves. They don't need anything else. We could do that company down in Florida called Feld has done it before. So I just think I just think they're entering their demise, and it is what it is. Be cool to have monster trucks back, and hopefully something happens where they realize it's a mistake. But until then, they have to lay in their own bed and see how that goes. But I just think it was a bad move.
My prediction is that monsters will be back. It's just a matter of time. They may have to go 2 or 3 seasons to experience, hey, something's not right here. We got to correct it. Look for maybe a different company to pick that up as well. I don't know if that could actually happen or not, but at the rate they're going, something's going to have to change.
You also got to look at how many I mean, because of COVID and everything, and obviously we all know Monster Jam kind of had to shut down and, take a step back with all their shows. But look at how much the independent scene has grown. I mean, you have Renegade, you have Throwdown, you have all these other, independent promotions that put on a hell of a show that I've seen more people in attendance at those shows than I ever have at a jamboree.
Like
Right,
when I was
and-
at the Renegade show in October in Lincoln Speedway, that was a sold out show. One show only, the night show. It was sold completely out. You look at some events, even with at certain venues with Monster Jam or any other company in small arenas, like you're not getting those kind of sellouts. With like Throwdown, and it just shows that the power of the independent promoters and teams last year was the major driving force in monster trucks.
It still is today, Brad. Even though you went to one show, I just came back from a show where it was sold out in Oklahoma, and we only had a 4-truck field, and they sold out the arena, and it was just all independents. Except for the cool thing was Jimmy Creedon was driving a ride truck, but that was a sight to see. But even though you went to that one venue, Brad, it's still growing, like you said. And it's still this train ain't stopping, and I hope everything continues on.
Well, it just may be my point of view as a Canadian monster truck fan too, right? Because there's I've been to shows here and around Alberta, and you're not getting sellouts even from certain independent promoters. Throwdown sells out Edmonton. That's the only sellouts that I see around here. Monster X Tour didn't really get a lot of sellouts, or Edge Motorsports didn't get a lot of sellouts. So it's I guess it's my viewing of how monster trucks are in Canada compared to the States.
Well, that's not the only problem. It's the major problem with people that not selling out seats is how they promote it. A lot of people try to go word of mouth, or they don't spend the money to promote they don't want to spend the money on radio or billboards or spend the money for displays. And that's a lot of times happens when you don't get sellout seats. They just randomly think, okay, I'll just put a monster truck in front of the racetrack and hopefully it catches people's eyes. Yeah, it will, but that's not going to help out. So a lot of issues sometimes has to be with the people trying to promote the show.
And I could give a perfect example. So the very last Monster Jam show at the Pontiac Silverdome was back in 2006. Well, the official last show for Pontiac was, I believe, 2010. And there was a big coverage I think Monster Blog did on it. But I remember going and paying for my ticket. And for the first time in my entire life going to this venue, it was just choose a seat and sit wherever you wanted, because there was just hardly anybody there. And this is a stadium where it was constantly, every time Monster Jam or any kind of monster trucks were there, it was always packed, like every single show. And whoever it was that was running it, I think I'll remember hearing like one commercial, and it was on like I think there's like one Facebook ad, and you just hear this little commercial on the radio, and that was it. That's all you heard about this show. And it was to the point where some people were like, there's no monster truck show going to Pontiac's getting torn down. Like, why would they start having a show? And well, they had one, but it really could have been a lot bigger than what it turned out to be. Still was an awesome show. I got to see, I believe Zimmer and Carl Van Horn were driving for, I believe that night it would have been Ice Monster and Excalibur, which I believe Excalibur won racing. But even still, and not to mention seeing Bigfoot come back, but it would have been such an awesome show. It could have been so much more, but like you said, the promoter just didn't take anything with it. And suddenly silence.
I have a little bit of a delay. But yeah, I mean, like you said before, it's like that scenario. But off the topic, I guess I can tell you guys about my Oklahoma show, which was pretty cool.
Let's hear it.
Had the throttle monster teams of it was Mike Christensen in Vendetta, Austin Mitten, who's driving Jurassic Attack, and then Zach Jensen was driving the black Kamikaze, and then we had Mark Hall and Raminator. Jimmy Creedon was there with 2 of his ride trucks in the Redneck Road Trip and Knucklehead. You can go and gosh, Knucklehead. And the one truck was on the outside doing rides, and then the Redneck Road Trip was inside. But it was a good. We had a dealership there, Jackson in Etna, and we went ahead and did a display there. It was raining. It sucked. It was cold and raining. But we got wide loaded over to the arena, and shows start off pretty good. We won wheelies, which was the cars were pretty much gone, but pretty much the guy had a more vertical kind of angle one, and that was pretty much we did that. In racing, we took out Kamikaze, and we won that. And then we finished second freestyle. Got beat by Vendetta. They had tough trucks there, which is pretty cool. Problem was there was 4 tough trucks. They had 2 rounds. 3 out of the 4 were out by the first round. drive shafts, and drive shafts. So they had to hurry up, and one guy went in front wheel drive just to make it to the finals, and the other guy had this tough truck that was kind of like the stuff that you would see at the jamborees. Kind of had like the nice racing suspension and stuff like that. So we all knew who was going to win. But this one guy thought he was going to win. He kept on revving them over. Bah, 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 bah. The truck went bah, pop. You hear him smacking the floor going, tick, 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 tick. And the truck broke and died. And so he was out. That he would finish second, but whatever. And then they had these mini Power Wheels, and that was pretty cool. Like the trophy was like 3 feet tall. It was taller than me. And the kid won it with the Power Wheels deal. And then pretty much it was Mega Promotions. So it was ran by Linda Beckley. Yeah, she is the ex-wife of Ed. Yeah, hi Ed. And so she runs that show and format. It was a pretty good show, not gonna lie. Pretty good. It was. I think the people got their money's worth, especially with us and Throttle Monster. They really it was. I liked it. It was a good show. If you, like Brad said, if you watch the Tune In on Tuesday, that's on the Hall Brothers Facebook page. We did a little bit of a video work of that. So yeah, that was pretty much the Oklahoma trip. It was pretty good.
Nice. Can I bring up something real quick?
Yeah.
Somebody asked this chickadee over here a question. Get her talking for a little bit.
She's always quiet.
This chickadee.
Get her talking. She won't stop. I promise. Once she starts.
How is it to be a daughter of a badass monster truck driver?
I don't think she would know. I'm kidding.
Oh!
Kidding. I love you, BJ.
Dang, Harley, I didn't know you had red facial hair and you had a very deep voice.
Honestly, it's really cool to have a badass dad like that. I mean, to me, he's just my dad, but yeah. I mean, I'm just used to it. I mean, people like ask me like, "Oh my gosh,
well, here's a question.
It's cool." I'm like, "Yeah, like he's my dad. He drives monster trucks." Yeah.
Well, you always hear stories in the monster truck world where, a lot of the dads didn't get they did the monster truck deal and they didn't get to see the kids' plays and the soccer and all that stuff. And like, how did you handle that situation? I mean, you understand that your dad drives monster trucks, but once in a while you got to be like, hey dad, miss ya.
I mean, yeah, it sucked at times a little bit. But as I got older, I guess I understood more. Like, okay, he's out there living his dream. He's happy. He took an opportunity and just ran with it, and I don't blame him for that. And then, as soon as I graduated high school, I went and moved in with them and lived with them, and kind of caught up on all the time that we lost during that.
How was it going to, in school, people knowing that your dad was a monster truck driver? Was it kind of awkward at first, or was it everybody's like, yeah, your dad's a badass?
It was never awkward. Of course, you'd get those people that like aren't your friends that are like, "Oh, can you get free tickets?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but you're not getting any." But yeah, I mean, my dad was just a badass monster truck driver, and people were jealous of that, and they just thought that was really awesome. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're going to Monster Jam in Oakland this weekend?" I'm like, "Yes, I go every year. I've went every year up until I moved to Florida, and then didn't go ever since."
How was that scenario moving to Florida? Like that got to be a big commitment to go from one end of the country to the other. I mean, you have a lot of your friends in California, and you kind of have to start a new page outside of having your dad and future mom there in Florida. But how was that transition from going from California to Florida was like?
Honestly, I just wanted like a fresh new start. I saw an opportunity to get closer with my dad and Lindsay. And, I mean, hey, Disney World's over there and I love Disney and all theme parks. So I'm like, why not move to Florida and try something new? And, I met this guy. So something good came out of it.
His smile was like,
Well, one question that I have, it kind of pertains to the kind of coverage you guys have been doing on your Instagram and going to the Monster Jam shows in Texas, when they were doing the multiple shows. What was your guys' thoughts on that? Because I know Supercross has been doing that as well. They just had 3 races in Atlanta, and they were doing a bunch of stuff in Salt Lake City last year. Do you think that's kind of the new normal that we're going to be seeing right now? Do you think that they're going to be throughout the summer branching off into different markets, different cities, or do you think they're going to stay around, the Texas area kind of, because Texas is open from what I know. And do you think they're going to be staying around that area? Or do you think they're going to tour out into doing other events at other places?
I think eventually, honestly, it will get back to more states opening up and events will be moving. And this is kind of my reasoning in that is when we were at the Monster Jam show that was in Arlington, they had signs posted up everywhere because at AT&T Stadium, you're supposed to wear a face mask. The state's open, but some facilities will still require it.
Yeah.
And there's people walking around that work at the stadium with signs saying, please wear your face mask. And they're looking at people that don't have face masks on and they're not saying anything. It's just, okay, we're required to do this, blah, blah, blah. So I think, okay, at some point, yeah, the truth and the laws will eventually be watered down everywhere and some events will start picking back up. I love that they're going to Atlanta. I think you're going to see more events like that opening up because honestly, they've been there all along. And so, yeah, I think more events like that open up more fairground-ish type places, more West Leb type places. And there's plenty of other dirt track, great venues in Canada and in America that Monster Jam could hold those bigger events at. I think you're going to see more of that.
Yeah, I think they might branch out to more NASCAR tracks just because they are open. So you don't have to worry about like enclosed areas with the whole COVID rules in other states and everything like that.
Let me put it to you this way. If I were to ever to run a tour on the independent side of things, you could go drive in every single city in the DFW Metroplex and find a big ass high school football stadium that you could put on a badass monster truck show at. So maybe one of these days we could start a summer tour. We could just do one Friday night a month. We could do a show at a Texas high school stadium. There's plenty of venues.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, man.
There you go. All right.
Well,
Friday Night Lights.
And I think them going to Atlanta opens up the more possibilities of new venues. We're so used to seeing AT&T Stadium, Camping World Stadium, Ford Field. We're so used to seeing the usual venues. So it's a kind of a nice and refreshing for them to do something like this with Atlanta Motor Speedway. And from what there's rumors of the track, there's a bus that's going to be there, old school kind of van bus thing. I'm excited to see what they're going to pull out for this one because, they have probably this probably is going to be the largest floor that they've been able to be on in years.
Yeah, and my whole point is it's about time.
I just hope if they do decide to branch out to more NASCAR tracks. I live 15 minutes away from Michigan International Speedway. Like, it is not far at all. And whenever Monster Jam would be in town, it would always be in the worst season ever. I mean, if you guys have ever done Detroit, which I know you guys probably have done to Ford Field at least one time, and it's always freezing cold. There's an ice storm warning or a snowstorm warning. The weather is never great, and yet I'd still drive 2 hours in like really crappy conditions just to get to the show, which I kind of laughed at when there was a snow blizzard in Houston and they had to cancel the show.
Yeah.
I laughed at that myself too.
See, the thing with NASCAR tracks is NASCAR don't own all those tracks. There's different people that own them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so if you ever heard of a promotion back then, Pro MT, they did racing at like Bristol, Darlington, Daytona, Talladega, Nazareth. All those tracks were owned by one guy. And then, another, like the France family that Pro MT dealt with, all the tracks that the France family owns, they'll race there. See, the problem with Michigan is it's owned by another company. So, and like Pocono is owned by an independent company. And then there's different. So outside of that, you have to talk to the person that owns the track to be able to race at that track. Even though NASCAR runs there, it's still like a typical other racetrack, but you got to get there okay. So that's one thing that
here in DFW area that's wide open. It's been years since a monster truck show has been there. It's a little place. I might have heard of it, called Texas Motor Speedway, and they've got a badass dirt track there. One of the biggest and baddest independent shows I've ever been into in my life as a kid was at that venue. And I'm just, like I said, between that, all the high school stadiums are around here, college stadiums, obviously, there's plenty of venues, obviously in Texas, but all throughout America that are going to be opening up soon to places like monster truck shows.
Right.
Yeah.
And they need to go back to dirt tracks. I mean, yeah, independents do that, but it'd be nice to have Monster Jam back at like Hagerstown or Stafford Springs or Eldora or West Leb. I think they shouldn't forget about what the history of those tracks have, and the history of those tracks that have helped the monster truck world in general. Like, I mean, if Louisville wasn't tear down, that's a track right there. The figure eights. Oh, I mean, it's seeing all those, and I just think that'd be pretty cool to see all the old school dirt tracks.
Well, and in the chat there, Levi Schoens just mentioned that Atlanta is owned by Speedway Motorsports, who owns, Atlanta, Bristol, Charlotte, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway.
Texas.
So, who knows, that could be on the horizon, doing more NASCAR, tracks at the front
Let's
area.
hope so.
Yeah, maybe they're going to see how Atlanta goes and go from there.
That would be awesome because that gives a chance for one of my favorite things is straight line drag racing. I think that's one of the most, everybody's so used to Chicago style or St. Louis style. I think some of the best racing I've ever seen in my life is straight line drags. You have to manage the horsepower and not screw up. There's a margin for error in that kind of racing, in my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right, because I went to an independent show. It was Elliot Miller's big monster truck madness they used to have at Soaring Eagle Casino, and it was by far the coolest straight line drag strip I've ever seen. I think it was 3 bus stacks for a straight line course, and it was amazing. It was the best type of monster truck racing I've ever seen. I'm just saying, like these courses, we talked a little bit about it on our show. But some of the courses that Monster Jam runs, it's very repetitive, and I feel like they should change up the course design other than just Chicago style or St. Louis style. I feel like they're always using the same format.
See, I think my all-time favorite track design in Monster Jam was when it'd be like Chicago, but the trucks would start nose to nose. That was one of my favorite kind of racing courses that they were doing at the time because it was so different. And then there was that one in San Antonio where it was like that, but then they went around the berms, which I thought that was unique.
The weird banking they had in the middle before you edge out. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That would be very interesting to see, especially trying to incorporate that into a freestyle element as an obstacle.
I enjoyed that one. I think it was like St. Louis 06 or 07 when they had that giant stunt and they had all those cars on top of this giant mound of dirt because they were doing like one of those throw acts. And I always remember seeing Tom hitting that and bouncing off the cars and bounce back and just hitting all those cars and stuff like that. Just the unique tracks in general, I thought was pretty cool. Houston 05, I think race Houston number 2 was a unique track I like too, because they started up the hill and then they did their own St. Louis style course. There was a lot of unique in the mid 2000s to late 2000s. They really experimented with tracks, which was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what they need to go back to at some point. I understand why they're doing kind of the tracks that they're doing now, because if they're doing multiple shows at the same venue, it just makes it a lot easier just to maintain the track. But, going out touring, I think, changing it up from what we're used to now should be what should happen next, because you always got to keep it fresh. You always got to do something different. You don't want repetition. You don't want insanity happening.
I mean, personally, I think if you're going to run a tour like what Monster Jam wants to do with their first quarters and they won a point series champion, I think you should be changing up the tracks weekly, not doing the same old, and really see, what drivers are really good. They want to do these practices the night before the show. and y'all love Jeff Bursey. Jeff Bursey is a great guy, historian of the sport.
President.
And Mr. President, that's right. The very first Monster Jam show that I was actually a part of was in Toronto, and he was there, and he was just ripping everybody he's like, I can't believe these guys got to have a practice before their show. And truth be told, he's right. Why did these guys from Phil think that they got to go and show up and do a damn practice for a show? If you're really good at what you do, you think you're the best driver, what do you need a practice for? Just get out there and get after it.
Let me quote, let me quote somebody. Practice? We talking about practice?
That old Allen Iverson interview from forever ago.
Allen Iverson.
Basketball. Don't worry about it, Tweety.
No, I'm thinking of playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs? So and y'all don't know what I'm talking about. That's football.
Yeah, from the Colts, right? Or is that? Or that's Arizona?
Yeah, it was the Colts. The Colts head coach. I can't remember what the guy's name was.
Who cares about the Colts?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right on. And I also think that their type of excuse is saying we need practice for the managers and sound people. Well, these people know exactly what they're doing. I mean, it's a monster truck show. It's not, I understand what's going on, but come on, man. You're wasting resources. We don't need practice. The drivers themselves have known to just tire up, show up, race, untire, head on out. You know what I mean?
And I'm just saying, you want to cut down on cost, quit running your motors at $8,000, on a Friday night for no reason at all. See what I mean?
And don't practice with your bodies on. That's another one.
Yeah.
How about just don't practice?
Yeah.
How about we go back to being real monster truck drivers?
And then just show up and race. You know what I mean? It's like, exactly what you're saying about, it's just, I don't even know how many times Tom Mentz rolled over during this 2016 season during practice. And we had to, Frankenstein the body back together. I just, it's just, I just think they need to stop doing it. It's dumb.
You don't see practice at an independent show,
No,
exactly.
And it's just it boggles my mind. Maybe if it's a newer driver, let them get a lap before the show just to get used to everything, but not for guys that have been doing it for years. Not guys like Tom, Adam, and all these guys that have been doing it their whole lives. Maybe for somebody new, but that's about it.
So if I may, I got a question for the Crush This Monster Truck podcast team. I want to know what y'all's goals are for the future lying ahead. I mean, what's the what are y'all looking? What are you wanting to do with the show? Are you already living that? Are you in the midst of that? Are you in your glory? Are you wanting to do? Are you grow? What's going on?
I'll let Cheech go first.
He's got to think about it for a minute.
They both got to think about it.
All right. Okay. First, I need back support. Anyway, let's see here. The future I want to see is, we become a paid podcast. We'll be on Westwood One or Podcast One. Get sponsorships that are willing to spend the money for us to do what we need to do. Everything that we have done is out. What?
Be on Sirius XM radio
or something like that nature. Be syndicated or something like that. But coming out of our own pockets, we do a lot of stuff, and a lot of the stuff, coming out, the sponsors that we have right now, they're all product sponsors. We want to have a money backing so we can have a green screen just like Austin, and go from there. But the future for right now is it's not really like to get to that point, but we have to take our time. I have to answer this thing, Mike. I'll get this pillow caught on microphone out of my face until you start walking without a cane. So I'll do it. So more than 30 minutes. So anyway, back to my topic here. So there's a future of it, but I would like to see it, get the not syndication, but some backing.
When I remember the day that I messaged Cheech, I think it was messaged on Facebook or TeamSpeak or whatever about the idea. I was just wanting to do something like, Monster Truck Radio with Roller back in the day. I remember watching that. That's kind of where the idea happened, and I was listening to a lot of podcasts at the time. I never thought we'd get to this point, even myself. It was at the beginning for me, it was just fun. Shooting the shit with a buddy and talking about a sport that we have a passion for. And my goals are the exact same as Dan's. Who knows what'll happen? Getting on Westwood One, Podcast One, earning money doing it. Because as Cheech said, the hosting for the podcast and the hosting on StreamYard comes out of our pockets. We want to be able to not have to worry about that, and it just comes from a different source. And that's why we started the shirts and stuff like that to help offset that cost. And I'm excited for what the future holds. And on my end, with Cheech is the best co-host I could think of. He's very knowledgeable about the sport. He lives it. That's his day job. That's what he does on the weekends. That's his career. And he puts up with my shit. And that's another thing. It's not just like, with you guys. You guys are best friends. Me and Cheech have been friends. We've known each other for probably over 10 years doing virtual monster truck racing. That's how we met. And to have a guy like Cheech that has my back in this, that is understanding, I go through my mental health stuff, is the best thing ever.
Absolutely.
The only thing right now, actually, there's one thing that all of us have in common. You have all personally met me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100% sure.
I guess because
go ahead.
With Brad, I invited him to Calgary Stampede. Have you guys done that show? Calgary, the Stampede, the Bull Ring.
Nope.
Okay, so they have a show there, and I got Brad to help out with track crew there, and he hung out in our hotel room and stuff like that. And then obviously, I helped Austin out with Spence with kind of getting his foot in the door. And then I met, actually, the first time I met you, Austin Tweedy, was actually at that Nashville show, to be honest with you. I think that was the first time
Kansas
I met
City.
you personally. Oh, Kansas City, my bad. See, I'm old. And obviously,
Can I just talk about that real quick, because this
Yeah.
is we haven't known each other very long, but we met each other, and I will never forget this as long as I live. One of these days, we're all super old. I'm probably going to talk about this at your funeral because this really cracked me the hell up. We're at Nashville or Kansas City. We just meet each other, and Cheech is trying to tire up Raminator, and he's basically trying to tire up Raminator by himself. And Mark is just watching him, and he's having trouble. So me and I think maybe Cooper Knuckles walk over, and we're gonna help Cheech tire up. And Mark was like, "Cheech, you suck. You got people coming over to help you." And you said, Cheech goes, "Mark, literally, when we had our interview, I told you I suck, and you said you're hired."
Oh my goodness, that is the greatest story ever.
I told you in the interview. I suck. You're like, you're hired. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I met Harley because I was living at BJ's house during that time too, and that fun shenanigans of Chuck Board and Scott Phillips and all them. But that was it. And then when you all hung out, then I saw you guys at Nashville. Remember, you guys were doing your little video thing, Tweety, you and Coop, and you guys are running around in the middle of the storm. Remember that bridge that was all lit up?
Yeah, when we were being badasses on the scooters, we were texting and scootering and wiping out in the rain. Yeah, I've got a picture of me, you, and maybe Matt Dishman at Nashville Stadium as well. I forget I have it, but yeah.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
See, the time that I met Cheech, that's when I met Christian Norman as well. And the cool thing is, Christian's also a drummer, and I am as well. So the next to the hotel was a music store. So any free chance that we had, we were at the music store just geeking over drums.
Nice. I play a little bit of guitar. A band.
That was actually the first time also I got introduced to the scam of the IRS was going to take your money.
What do you mean?
Was it that trip, Cheech?
Yeah, it was a trip that the guy from India was calling, saying he was the IRS and they were coming to arrest me. And they're like, they're going to be at your house in 15 minutes. I'm Jesus. Like, do you even know where I'm at? And they're like, you're in America. You're I know where exactly you're at. I'm like, no, I'm in Canada.
Were we at the hotel or the mall at that point?
No, we were about to go to the mall. We were at
okay.
We went to stop at Tim Hortons. Remember that Tim Hortons that didn't have a dine-in? It was just a drive-through only.
Oh yeah, we walked there like almost every single morning.
Yeah, but we drove there because Bailey Shea wanted to go to the mall, and they're like, "All right, we'll go to the mall." So, we went there, but that's when I got the phone call, and then they started backtracking, like, you're in America. I'm like, yeah, but where? And then I found out that the IRS don't call you; they mail you stuff. So I was like, ooh. But that was about it. I remember that. And that was terrible. That gave me like 50 years of extra, 50 years of less life. I was so stressed. So don't take my money. Wait, you're not real.
It'd have been worse if they were threatening to take all of his RCs away.
I didn't have any RCs by then.
Oh, you didn't have any at the time? When did you start? When did you start racing RCs, Cheech?
I started back in 2019. I did off and on stuff, but I never. Oh Jesus. 8? No, 10.
And you said 10, they're around $1,000 a piece to build?
No, just the pro mods. The pro mods. Sport mods are with the SMT 10, like maybe an extra $50 on top of that, and then the retros are like almost $300.
Oh, we lost Brad.
Brad is a phone call, so he'll come back on it. He just says goodnight to his mom and dad. Let's see here. Levi says I met Cheech at Glendale before I got introduced to the industry. Spence got into the industry. Spence while I was doing club, and Tweety while I was doing club. What the hell? Rewrite
Do you
that,
want?
Levi.
Do you want me to read that for you? Because you were skimming,
I
kind
think he
of.
was saying he was working in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, working in
And
the club.
Both Austins.
Oh, Mr. Mitten over there, more intelligent than everyone else because he lives next to Canada. Let me translate this to America for you guys. America, Cheech, Glendale, America. The temperature there was America, and the time was America. Back in the day where I still believe in the Silver Dome and Ford Field is nothing. America. Look at my face on the American flag, red, white, and blue. Rah, 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 rah. Is that how you translate it, Spence?
Tweety, I think we have
Close
a new
enough.
shirt concept.
America.
No, the shirt translate
America time.
Translate
That
America.
Mountain Dew.
America.
What? Oh, just the Mountain Dew that
yeah,
just keeps.
basically. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't care because every single time you take a drink, you see your wife's face. But yeah, pretty much Levi met everyone from the club. He partied at the club.
I like Levi. Levi's a good dude. He also helped
Yeah, he
my
is.
dad when he was driving on the West Coast. I think he actually helped him out at a few shows. Levi's a pretty cool cat.
I think actually, Spence, I met you at the Ford Field show, wasn't it?
Oh, did I never tell you this story about that show? Because you were with Pirate's Curse, I believe, weren't you?
Yes.
So
But I was helping out with Lucas Oil.
yeah, I remember that because I think I met you actually met you for the first time at that show during Pit Party. And I think you guys were doing a body up for either Lucas Oil or Pirate, one of the two. But this section that I was in, I was kind of over by the tunnel, like on the corner, and this kid in front of me was cheering for Pirate. Like that was the truck he was cheering for the entire night, and he had a sign all made and everything, and it was the most adorable thing ever. He's like, "Sir, I don't mean to be rude, but I spent a lot of time working on the sign. Do you mind if I hold it up?" I'm like, "Dude, wave that thing around as much as you can. I'll even throw you on my shoulders if you want." I meant to text you that show. It's like, hey, you got a number one fan up in my section, so make sure you guys don't screw it up.
Well, I had Steven Sims behind the wheel, so that could have been
anything. I'm very sorry for that.
Oh, it's all right. Can't be bad than Namey Hood.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? What'd you do that for? What? You got a booger? What was that?
Yes, something got in my nose. I'm not sure what that was. Anyway,
hope you get figured out.
Must be one of those powdered donuts from Tim Hortons.
Oh, we're not bad people, we promise. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Does her ear itch after being the butt of every joke?
I'd imagine.
Dang it. Shots fired. Yeah.
I need one of those. I need one of those horns.
I don't think we're syndicated in Canada, so I think we'll be all right.
Hey, all Canadians aren't like that, okay?
I questioned.
I've heard they like to speak that
good,
northern Spanish, otherwise known as French, in some areas.
Yeah, but I'm way too far away from that, so.
All right, let's have a geography lesson from Brad. The difference between East and West Canada.
Yeah, please, because I don't know. I've never been across the bridge to
there's
Canada,
like East, there's like West Canada, there's East Canada, and there's Far East Canada.
Okay. So you have two completely different spectrums here in Canada. So you have us here in the western side. So British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan. And maybe you can add Manitoba onto that. Manitoba's kind of more in the middle.
I'll be right back, guys.
But, we're kind of more redneckish, I want to say.
I'm actually looking up a map of Canada right now.
So just imagine Alberta as the Texas of Canada. Oil field, lifted trucks. Like, that's who we are. We love mud bogging. That's how we are here. So then you have Ontario, Quebec, which... they don't give a crap about us out here. Trust me, Quebecers and Albertans don't like each other. There's a rivalry there. But then you have Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, who let's just say it takes a special ear to figure out what the heck they're saying.
Oh,
Especially if you meet a drunk Newfoundlander, a drunk Newfie. Be prepared for your mind to be like, what did he just say?
now do they say a lot?
Yeah, but it gets so like you guys have watched Trailer Park Boys, obviously.
A little bit. I'm more of a
Just
lighter
not
candy
really,
kind of guy.
Trailer Park Boys the other day.
See, Trailer Park Boys, that's Nova Scotia.
Okay.
That's
What's letter-
based in- so you can sometimes hear like they have a different kind of accent.
Okay.
You know, they're more like, oh yeah, like I don't know. It's hard for me to describe their accent. Then you have like a show like Letterkenny, which one of the best shows ever made. That's kind of Ontario to describe it the best way. You know, the how they talk. You know, so like I said, Alberta is more like Texas than anything.
Oh yeah.
Just really cold.
Really cold for 90% of the year, and you hate your life.
And I'm assuming you guys actually know how to drive in the snow, unlike Texans.
Oh, goodness gracious me, oh my, yes. Like you were mentioning, you know, going up to I think it was Pontiac and like snowstorms and like, you know, shows like that, right?
Oh yeah,
You know,
Ford Field and Pontiac were always in the middle of like the worst times in the winter, and
yeah,
we always still managed to get there.
The Edmonton Monster Jam show at the hockey arena where the Oilers play, you know, that was middle of February. So, you know, it's still like, you know, like nothing going like the right speed limit on the highway. You know, you're not bothered. But I saw people driving in Texas. I'm just like, they wouldn't last 2 minutes here in Alberta in winter.
Tweety, you're awfully quiet.
So we just learned about the geographical form of Canada, right?
I heard that at the last second. I'm like, what is that?
Don't forget, I got a soundboard over here.
You could be the sound guy, sound effects guy.
Yeah. Play something.
Oh, man. Oh no.
That's fucking teamwork. Yes.
Oh, Brad, you okay?
I didn't expect to hear that.
Best sound I've got.
That's all I got. That's it. One man band. Show's over. One hit wonder.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Shout out to
Thank
John
you
Z.
very much.
Thanks for coming out.
Because I didn't know what you were gonna play. All of a sudden, I hear that, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
No, I got some custom sounds over here. I'll tell you this much right here. This sound I'm about to play, I recorded off an iPhone 7, I don't know, 4 years ago. That is Bigfoot 14, and that's actually the first time I ever moved a Bigfoot truck. That's me driving.
That was actually the very first Bigfoot that I ever sat in when Kyle Doyle was running it.
Gotcha.
So, and that truck also has meaning because that's the truck that ran the bad boy body, the one that I designed. So that one has a lot of significance to me.
I didn't know you designed that.
Yep,
really?
the black and red one, that was my design. You guys didn't know that?
I knew that it was a flat black one, the like really cool like hot rod one, right? That
Yep.
was the one you designed. Yeah, that was the best one.
Hell yeah! No, I had no idea.
I still remember I remember the day that winning that. It was just insane. They didn't even call me. I found out on Facebook.
Still waiting on you to make some trucks for Beam and G there, Brad. Just saying, waiting for you to jump on the bandwagon.
Is it the same for as
Yeah,
rings or rods?
yeah.
I mean, kind of, pretty much, but I mean, I feel like Beam and G is a lot easier. I've tried making trucks really for rigs, but it just never turns out the way I wanted to. While with Beam and G, it's easier. That's what I did when I was on the road. While a lot of guys were after a show or after traveling, they would go to the bar or go out to eat. I was in the hotel room just making skins for the game, just because like it was just something to do.
I actually got a monster truck sound. It's actually from the Gas Monkey truck before the mufflers. And I just thought, I don't think I was moving it, but I record it. They had the headers.
Sorry, I'm
was back
bobbing
in
my
like
head to it.
2016.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me ask this:
Yeah.
what do you guys think is the best sounding monster truck of all time?
Ooh.
I'm
Now, in
obviously going to
action-
be biased
action or
to the
idle?
Big Blue team
Can't be
out of St. Louis.
biased.
No,
Don't
I
be
am. I
biased.
just those headers, the Ford motor. I'm biased. And then in second place for me is going to be the Barefoot Hemis because they were run super fat. So, yeah, it's a mix up between Bigfoot and Barefoot for me.
All right, Mr. Spence.
This is kind of a difficult one. So I would have honestly, a lot of trucks nowadays kind of run the exact same. At least a lot of the trucks I've been around, I kind of got to go with the Dodge guys. You know, team the Hall brothers. Like there's those. You guys run Keith Black Hemis, right? Or is it someone else that
No,
builds
we
your
run
guys' stuff?
we run Brad Anderson all aluminum block Hemis.
They're all aluminum.
Brad
God.
Anderson.
I dare I ask, how much does one of those engines cost just by itself? Or you're not allowed to disclose that?
X amount of dollars.
Not allowed to disclose that. But I'll just let you know that the last time he bought a block was like 8 or 9 years ago. So we're still running the same motors that he bought it back in 2002.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
that's actually really awesome because how long would a motor last in Monster Jam, Tweety?
A good one. Good one lasts.
You know here.
But that doesn't mean that the blocks toast every time, though.
Yeah. I mean, hell, Dan Patrick runs a motor on Samson that's clear back from 1984. And it's a Hemi. Mm-hmm.
By the way, as a response to Austin Spence asking how much those motors are,
Nice car. What's the retail on one of those? More than you can afford, pal.
More than you can afford to tell. Hemi. Okay,
right,
how many brand new Ram trucks could I buy for how much one of those engines would cost?
2.
All right. No thanks.
all right, Teach. What about you for awesome sounding trucks?
For idling and stuff like that, I would go with the I have to go bias. I'm sorry, the Hall brothers, and before the before the Headman headers, and during with it. But I have to go with also with action, Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger 20 with those zoomies when he does the 1-2. That's always a cool sound. But I'll go with my bosses and their trucks, the idle. And for another thing, I always thought was pretty cool for idling is always hearing like Chris Bergeron and then and Jimmy Creedon when they have the big block, the Pontiac head motors.
Yeah.
With that whining noise. I always thought that was a pretty cool sound too.
Harley, what about you?
Honestly, I'll probably have to go with Barefoot. That has like honestly always been like my favorite truck. That's like my earliest memory of a monster truck is Barefoot, and like to this day, I've always loved that truck.
Mine, I have to go with what Cheat said. Digger 20. Digger, like the 1-2 that he always does with those zoomies, just one of the greatest sounds ever. And then I'll also have to go with Austin Tweedy with the Bigfoot truck. They have such a distinctive sound behind them.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know, like it's just there's a unique sound to the foot trucks.
Well, Gunslinger kind of sounds similar too, with those Headman headers that they have, those swoop back headers, and those big Ford motors. They have a pretty cool idling and running noise. There's a pretty sweet sound of a monster truck when they accelerate and then they decelerate. You ever hear those after the whining when they're like about to hit another obstacle that like, oh, you hear it a lot on the Monster blog. You hear the trucks go, and then when they decelerate, you hear that little Bigfoot. Their headers have a sweet sound when they do that. For some odd reason, like and then when they before they hit the accelerator, they have that maybe 1 to 2 second pause where you hear the just the idle, the idle of the engine, and then they hit it. I always thought that was. I'm very very I guess particular on. I'm one of those weird people that I could fall asleep on an idle of an NHRA dragster. My ringtone is the idling of a top fuel dragster, and I can uh fall asleep on that.
Scott
I don't
Bryant
know.
just mentioned Taurus 3, which I love that how that truck idled. I don't even know if it was the cam, but like there's a certain like sound with zoomies. It has like that good lope that just, oh my God, it's just it's one of the best sounds
And
ever.
I think another truck that actually had a good lope was anytime Gary Porter had Carolina Crusher. It had this like womp, 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 like it sounded like it was gonna choke itself, but it didn't. He loved that loping and womp, womp, womp with so I always thought Carolina Crusher, any of his trucks had that pretty cool lope. Like you said, I mean, when before the Hedman headers, you had Samson, the Hall brothers, Virginia Giant, they had that nice little crisp sound to it. There's probably one truck that I still today have to cover my ears, and that was Rap Attack. That truck, my goodness, backfiring plus.
I've never experienced that truck in person.
Oh, it's a treat. Like almost every Michigan Independent show, it is. Dave is always there with Rap Attack. Like I'm kind of surprised I don't see him on many of the Throwdown roster this year. But yeah, I can attest to what Cheech is saying. It is by far one of the loudest trucks you ever hear. But it's not. But as far as best sounding, it's not. It like it's crackling, it's backfiring. It's kind of like it's loud, but it doesn't sound that great.
If I may, just real quick,
Yep.
just change the subject real quick. We saw Scott Bryant comment just a few minutes ago, and I just want to say, with everything that guy has been through, seeing his recovery has been super motivational to me. And I just want to say, Scott, I follow along with you every chance I get. I'm glad to see you're progressing the way that you have after the incident that you had. The monster truck community is the best thing about the monster truck community is we are such a close, tight-knit community. And anything that any of us could ever do for your brother, we got your back. I look forward to to seeing you once again, maybe sometime this year and shaking your hand. And love seeing how you've progressed and healed over last year.
And one thing I apologize also for Scott is Scott watches our program and listens to our stuff daily. I think he's actually he's our biggest fan. I'll be honest with you. He messages us, his wife messages us. We did the auction to help him out a couple years when he had the incident. But Scott, much love. Thank you for the support and everything that you've done. You're still awesome and informative, and much love, man, much love.
Quick story on him. Whenever I was touring with Redzira's in 2018, and he was working with the Overkill team, and just any chance that guy got, he was helping us out, giving us pointers, or actually helping us with the truck. My hat's off to that guy. Super nice guy. And I got to watch him drive a couple of shows. Just an outstanding person.
There was actually a book a couple years ago that he made. And it was like a bunch of pictures, and it had the front of it was Bigfoot 14 with the chrome illusion paint on it. I didn't know he made that book. He ran that book and got that, and I didn't put 2 + 2 together, but then I realized, that's the same guy. And I thought that was pretty cool. That book was really awesome. But if anyone has a chance to see the Marty Garza book, please do. That's pretty cool also.
I still need to buy myself a copy. I just haven't brought myself to do it yet.
Yeah, same here. It's and I hope to meet Scott one day. He's definitely a very knowledgeable guy in the sport. Like Cheech said, he's always here on the episodes. He is probably our biggest fan. And it's awesome that he hangs out with us, and definitely need to get him on the episodes sometime soon, I think.
Yeah, definitely need to do that. Can I change gears again real quick? I got a question I want to ask all of y'all.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Let's do this. I'm gonna start. I'll give you my 2 cents first, okay? And I want to tell you why I'm excited about this question because I've never actually told anybody this before, to my knowledge. Y'all's favorite driver, okay? All-time favorite driver. I'm gonna give you mine. Mine would be Dan Runny. No, it might be a shocker to y'all, but this is why I say Dan Runny. I think for somebody who's been in the sport as long as he has, I don't think there's ever been a driver, maybe with the exception of Dennis and Tom, who has evolved with the sport as long as he's been in it, right? Since the early 90s and being just a master of racing. And then, moving into the mid 2000s and then evolving with freestyle. And as the trucks change, and I just consistent to any show that he's ever showed up at and put his driver suit on him. I got to go with Dan Runny for that reason.
So are we talking about just like best at driving or just like as an overall driver? And the reason I say this is like, are we looking at it from a racing standpoint, from a freestyle standpoint, from a
Just
fan standpoint, just overall
fan standpoint, favorite driver and why?
Jim Kohler, hands down. Jim is basically one of those guys that he just kind of started off as this was just a hobby that he liked to do. And then he just kind of took this whole persona as Mr. Excitement, where he was just known for crashing. Not the greatest racer, but he had like a following. He always was one of the guys that you always knew you could put on a show. And that's with either Monster Jam or with Independent Series. He was always one of the guys to beat. So, and he is an outstanding guy. I mean, he comes off as goofy and, kind of out there on TV, but as a person, dude is extremely smart in the industry. So by far, Jim Kohler is at the top of my list.
Are we allowed to have more than one, or does that have to be just one?
Sure. No, go ahead.
Well, okay. So my first one would be Jimmy Cretin. I loved
why
how
do you have to say that?
See, I loved Bounty Hunter, growing up watching, Jimmy drive. And, I remember the first time I got to see him drive, it was amazing to me. Just the control that he has behind the wheel of that truck. I think he, the way that he thinks as a driver is different. I think he's more methodical in how he approaches. I remember, I don't know what World Finals it was. I don't know if it was the one that he won freestyle at or not, but there was in the racing competition, he did an interview. He was saying that he wasn't even touching the rear steer going around the corner. Stuff like thinking about stuff like that. Like, I wonder how you would figure that out. And then I just got to say it, the slap wheelies, that dude can slap wheelie anything, it seems. I remember the first outdoor show I saw him at, because the first show I saw him at was an indoor arena. The time I saw him, one of the first times I saw him at Edmonton and Throwdown, it was like hokey dyna. Like, the dude can slap wheelie just off of anything. And then my second, I would have to go with Dan Runty. Growing up, watching the Penda series, being a Bigfoot fan, that man, it was also the consistency. I know they call Gary Porter Mr. Consistency, but I also think Dan Runty could have taken that name too. If you lined up against Dan Runty, you were going to have a rough time because the dude was killer on the light. He was in the best equipment and he could take out anybody at any given moment. So it had to be Jimmy Cretin and Dan Runty for me.
I'm not going to say this because he's my boss, but I follow the guy since beforehand, and that's Mark Hall. He's underrated for all the championships. People forget that Mark Hall had Dan Runte's number from 2001 all the way to 2011. Don't forget that, Jack. And he started out with Kyosho and the Big Boss, and then they didn't have no sponsorship with the Executioner. I think it's crazy how much of a cult following people love the Executioner truck, the red and white. The red and white and the black and white Chevy truck. Everyone, and then they got the backing from Chrysler after Chrysler and Fred fell off, and that right there, even with the Executioner. But then you guys had to bring a lunch bag when you had to race against them. But now then the Chrysler backing and the Hemi horsepower, you had to bring a freaking catering with you to line up against those guys and those trucks. and how they kept a sponsorship. Something that is kind of hard in the monster truck industry is to keep a major sponsorship. Bigfoot had a great run with Ford, but they lost Ford, but they still had Summit, Firestone for the longest time. Outside of that, it's the Hall brothers that have pretty much backing. That's no doubt about it. And Mark is one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. Yeah, he has some of his days. Everyone has their days. But when it comes to shows and stuff, he's one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. He'll talk to you like he knows you when you're 20 years old. 20 years. He knows you and how he drives that truck. He drives it hard, and the championships prove it. He won numerous races, and I'm very surprised that him and his brother haven't made to the Hall of Fame yet, because they didn't start off like Dan Rente. Dan Rente had Bigfoot. Started off. Dennis Anderson was pretty good, but he already had his ground. He started rough, but the truck started getting popular. By the Hall brothers already started their monster truck career, Dennis was already the most popular monster truck out there. And Mentz, with help of Mentz kind of was in the same boat with Tom. Tom was in the same boat with Mark. Gosh darn it. With the helping of Paul Schaefer, but he bought that truck from Paul to run Monster Patrol. So it's something to do with those Illinois boys, but still, I can go with that. And then, pretty much a driver that I always thought was pretty good. Did you Austin Tweedy said today or any time in history? Because I have to go with Andy Brass.
Yeah, I was just a history line too. Any generation, any decade, didn't matter.
Yeah. Some of the footage that Bob Jr. showed me of what Andy can do behind the wheel of a monster truck and put that truck out of a situation that a lot of people are like, you would have been deep kimchi, but Andy pulled it out. It's crazy. For a guy that's the same height as me, anything's possible.
No, what you were saying, you think Mark Hall is very underrated. I could not agree with you more. Go find his list of accomplishments in the industry, and you're going to wonder why he's not in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah. Same. Tim is crazy knowledgeable on the mechanics of a monster truck, and they're so knowledgeable. Like it makes my job a little easy knowing what's going on. You know what I mean? It's just it's crazy. Tim Hall and Mark, they're some cool cats. I'm not gonna lie.
By the way, I gotta kind of give a quick shout out to my buddy Kyle Pereversev, hashtag Brad's biggest fan. So hi Kyle.
Yeah. How about the comment below that about you in an orange shirt bra?
Hey, I'm wearing my Cletus Freedom Construction shirt, by the way. Hell yeah, brother. Do it for Dale.
Do it for Dale.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask this quickly, because this was something I just thought about. We've seen footage of like guys like Tony Stewart getting behind the wheel of a Bigfoot truck and other NASCAR drivers. So let's say, and even we saw Damon Bradshaw come from Supercross into driving a monster truck. Who do you think from a different motorsport discipline, could be F1, NHRA, dirt cars, it doesn't matter, who do you think would be a good somewhat transition into driving a monster truck?
Well, I'll let y'all stir on that for a minute, and I'm going to give you an answer as to if you were to ask me this question 4 years ago, I would have honestly told you the Diesel brothers. Now, laugh at that all you want.
Austin spins with the eye roll.
But when their show, Austin
Still got your tailgate.
Whenever that show originally aired, I watched the very first episode and I absolutely fell in love with it. Those guys are characters. They got a good shop. Some of the greatest mechanics, in that shop with them, diesel mechanics. And I thought, man, they would be a shoe-in for driving a monster truck. And in the back of my mind, I was kind of hoping that some, a bigger independent team would pick them up. And no, they had to go straight to Monster Jam, and that's where they're at now. I wish they would have got in with a team like Bigfoot or somebody else, but I mean, it is what it is. But that would have been my answer if you would ask that question to me. Like I said, wherever it was 4 or 5 years ago now. Yeah, would have been the Diesel brothers.
America.
See, I think if somebody coming from a motocross, supercross background would be ideal because throttle control. Even though it's in a 10,000-pound vehicle, it's still Damon Bradshaw proved it. Tapping the brakes in the air, being able to nose the truck down. Using the momentum of the truck and the wheels. So a guy like I'm saying like maybe Ryan Dungey, Eli Tomac, a guy like that, I feel like would be a somewhat decent transition to be in a Monster Jam truck just because of that fact.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned motocross. I think you might be forgetting because we're thinking of Damon Bradshaw, but we're forgetting. I mean, Travis Pastrana, Brian Deegan, and those guys getting behind the wheel, and they just would have spent a little bit more time in it. What they could have done with monster trucks.
And you mentioned Brian Deegan. I think you're exactly right. If he had more time behind the wheel, look at what he was able to do in short course off road easily. Yeah. Even a guy like Jeremy McGrath would have been a good choice. I know Ricky Carmichael did a test in a digger truck, a long time ago, and they aired that on Speed Channel. But that was about it for what he did. It prove that there is that transition that they can do easily.
I have one, since we're talking motorsports, and we're talking across all planes of motorsports here. If he decides to hang it up in rally, I think Ken Block would give Ryan Anderson a run for his money if he had seat time in a monster truck.
That would be epic.
I would want to see that.
Yeah, nobody would disagree with that statement. Good one, by the way. For some reason, I didn't even think of that.
Another name that could be clocked in there is BJ Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
yeah.
You need to get Todd on the phone. Get all the Monster Energy guys on line. Line them up. We're talking Kyle Busch, Dean, everybody. Let's go. Tryouts.
What about you, Cheech?
I really don't know because I always think of yeah. I always think I'm thinking to myself that'd be cool and all, but would that be financial feasible for these guys? Because a lot of these guys are making pretty good money on what they're doing, and monster trucks are kind of going might as well be a hobby or a tier down from what they're doing. Yeah. But if we're talking about imagination, stuff like that, I would say like Levi was talking about Kyle LeDuc, or I know the guy's name's the same thing as the announcer, but Scott Douglas, he drove Pro 4. Maybe something in like I wouldn't mind seeing Robbie Gordon, or heck, maybe like Tony Stewart, or a couple of the NHRA guys like Matt Hagan or Ron Capps. They follow monster trucks also, so it's pretty cool to maybe see them run that type of instead of going a straight line, just go straight lines with a bunch of jumps, but you're only going 40 miles an hour instead of 300. But
I'm not gonna lie. Right now, in my head, I'm thinking of a John Force interview after a monster truck after he would win. Oh my gosh,
those giant teeth.
The
Colgate Monster Jam truck with John Force.
I can like
monster truck, 75 years old.
Just his interviews are some of my favorite things in the world. So just imagining that it's hysterical.
Y'all might not be in the know of this, but back in the early 2000s, my dad was actually a part of a group of guys who got to teach. I want to say teach because we all know Tony Stewart drove a Bigfoot truck at one point, but he was able to teach both Tony Stewart and I'm sorry, not Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick and Dale Earnhardt Jr. how to drive a monster truck. I've got a picture of my dad with Dale Jr. To this day, I should have brought it out because it's one of my favorite pictures of my dad. It's so awesome.
It's somewhere around
He's standing, he's got his hands up on his hip like this. Sitting next to Dale Jr.'s got a big old fatty in his lip and just, smiling, taking a picture. But and they did a little TV spoof with the Kevin Harvick thing because he crushed his aunt's car and it was a big, she didn't realize what was going on. And then he brought out a new car for it. It was a really cool thing. Fun fact.
I like it. Fun fact. Yeah, that's when Paul Schaefer had that deal with Tony Stewart, right? And Kevin Harvick, the Kid Rock truck and the smoke truck. I
believe, dude, how many people hated that damn truck whenever we toured. I don't know. It seemed like when we got in the South, people absolutely loved it or they absolutely hated it. It would actually, when they would introduce a truck, it would get booed at some places, and then in some other venues, people would just eat it up. It was hit or miss.
Just imagine if it was a Jeff Gordon truck.
Which paint scheme?
The rainbow one. Imagine bringing that to Alabama.
Actually, by that time, it would be the flame job one.
Hey, and y'all know that BJ drove the Kevin Harvick Kid Rock truck, right?
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also ran barefoot, and he was one of the only ones that ran the barefoot Chevy body.
Yep. Which I guess ended up being the Kevin Harvick Kid Rock truck. Fun fact, I watched him break his arm in that truck, go to the hospital, and then come back the next day and race that truck with a broken arm.
How did he break his arm?
I don't know.
Here's a question for the future Tweety family here. Did you guys meet each other prior to Monster Jam?
No. So that is a great question. You would think. No, we met at a Halloween party at BJ's place. No lie. Yeah. After obviously I moved to Florida, but no, she was on the West Coast. So, I mean, we were in opposite worlds. If I ever went anywhere, from close to St. Louis area, it was just straight up and down north, north or south. And that was it. So her and I never met each other as kids.
No, not that I can remember.
That's crazy. Your dads are hanging out with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one of the questions I asked your dad, Austin, when we did the audio one. How interesting it is, to come full circle that your son was is dating a teammate daughter and just came around full circle, and how life sometimes can take so many different turns that some things that may not happen in your mind 5 years ago just come out of nowhere and hit you around the face like America.
Well, what's funny was Austin was dressed up like his dad for the Halloween party.
Whoa. Fun fact.
Yeah, I was broke.
Easily confused between Austin and Rodney.
No, fun fact, I was super broke whenever I moved to Florida. I couldn't afford anything, but you know what? I got a badass 90s Bigfoot t-shirt and some blue jeans shorts and some white tube socks. So I half-ass grew out some little goatee and shaved it and wore some Ford hat and put that outfit on, and I couldn't keep her off of me.
Oh my god!
it was the Bigfoot shirt that did it.
It was the Bigfoot shirt.
Must have been.
It was that fine. It must have been the futuristic goatee.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even remember half our conversation because you were so drunk that night.
So who talked to who first?
Harley, you're gonna have to tell us because I can't remember.
I feel like you came up to me. We had heard so much about each other before meeting each other.
Yeah.
Like he was known to me as the pretty boy of the Feld shop, and I had never met him yet. And then you came along, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's Austin.
Well,
that's the
Lindsay had been just dying to get us to just meet each other for months, and it never worked out. So when we met each other, it was a real quick hi, it's nice to finally meet you. About an hour after that, I'm drunk. So I'm trying to talk to her, and I don't know. I remember asking her some dumb stuff. She for some reason doesn't remember. Maybe I'm just
I don't
making it up.
remember.
But,
You
yeah.
talk about drunk. I remember the time. I remember the time at BJ's wedding, and I became the Harley's babysitter because she.
Yes.
Okay,
Let's
I
talk
did-
about this. Yes.
Oh no.
where should I start?
Right, what are you talking-
Fun night. You're passed out on the bathroom floor, and I had a poke you on the stick saying "work."
Were you the one that
Why
put the Jurassic Park blanket on me?
Yes, because I put the Jurassic Park. And I was like, I think she's gonna stay here forever, so I just put the blanket over there and just left. I was supposed to babysit her, and I just put the blanket, shut the door, and left. I was like, oh, it's okay. And
There is a
I
video out
continued
there somewhere.
drinking.
Lindsay and BJ have this video, but it's of her and Sydney like after the reception, and they're 3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah.
They're just gone. And,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, congratulations!" And Harley's like, "Yeah, love you guys."
Okay, there was like 5 seconds of emotion twist that I was hanging out with Lil Drew, and Philip was coming over, and Harley's somewhere in the left field, but she comes over, she's all talking and stuff like that, and I mentioned my age, and Harley for the longest time thought I was 25, and I was like, "No, I'm like 30," and she's like, "What?" And she stormed off and left. And I was like, "Okay, bye." And then Lil Drew from California goes, "What was her problem?" I was like, "What?" He comes over, he goes, "Come here." I put my head over, and I was like, "What's up, Drew?" And he's like, "What's her problem?" I was like, "I don't know, man." And then Brandon was bartending with Lauren, and we just kept on going. And then I go open the bathroom, and I see Harley's just. I was like, "Gosh darn it, not again!" And then I was like, "Oh, here's a blanket," and I left. And then I think in the middle of the night, I think you finally went across to your room where you and your grandparents
Yeah,
were
in the
at.
middle of the night, my grandfather walked in and was like, "Harley, go to bed." And I'm like, "Okay."
But it was hilarious because I was like, I looked around. I'm like, "Can someone help me?" And they're flat on their face, drunk, like on the floor and all that. I'm like,
I
There's a bunch
remember
of bodies
wearing
on the floor.
those bunny heads that you guys brought. Remember those giant heads that you bought at Walmart?
yeah, the giant bunny heads.
Yeah.
And then we all took photos next to the car. Everyone was wearing those stupid bunny heads. The tiger heads also. They had a couple of random people with the tiger heads. And then we had that giant the picture in the garage where we could take pictures and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That was pretty fun. There's our can again. And I thought that was a funny story, was because it was like everyone was having a good time. It was cool to see Carl Van Horn and his daughter also singing some of the songs and stuff like that. And then we had like a dance, just danced all night long. And then,
Mhm.
man, that was a good thing I had to set my flight up at 6 p.m. That was a one-stop flight too. I got back like around 7 p.m.
Didn't you make like hangover burgers
8.
like the next morning?
Sliders? Yes. Freaking Corvette smelled like cheeseburgers. I had to put the top down so it doesn't smell like cheeseburgers. That was so great. Oh my gosh. Yes, yeah, I had to make 2 plates because Lindsay demanded. She didn't request. She demanded me to make those. I was not allowed to leave the premise until I had to make these slider cheeseburgers that were like so good, and had to make those, and we all were happy, and
It was a good time. It
that
was a fun.
yeah, it was cool. I wish I would have came back again, but no, I mean, most of my Florida trips have been on the East Coast, except for the Super Bowl. But by that time, everyone's doing something else. So it was, and I don't have really much time to go, "Hey, I'm here." It's mostly, "Hey, I'm here. Bye." Pretty much. So it was my last, I guess, hoorah or my last time spending in Florida
Mhm.
was that wedding, which, like I said, it was a fun time. I'm not gonna lie. And then, no pressure. Lindsay and BJ was telling me I had to carry the ring bearer. I just get there. Finally, I get there. I have a job to do, and I didn't even know that I had a job to do. Or if you're gonna run this RC and you screw up, you're a dead man. Thanks. But I got the job done, so it all matters. But
You did. It
yeah,
was
there's
great.
a little Harley story about this Harley going all crazy. Craig.
I mean, when I get drunk, I get crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah, only one time, but it's okay. I think Harley has seen me drunk more than tons of times. Yeah, it's always a good time.
What's
Yeah.
next, fellas?
There was one time, Brad. I got a story to tell you about Brad. There was one time
Oh,
you got
no.
kicked out at Carger, up in Canada, that monster truck show, and he walked all the way to the hotel room. We had to pick him up midway there to get his butt over back to the track.
No,
Because
you're
of Bob
wrong
Bennett.
on that. You're wrong on that. Okay, here's the story.
Oh, I'm sorry,
So-
I'm wrong because I was working, Brad, not walking and crying at the same time.
Okay, I wasn't crying. First off, so
Let's ask all the
I
Canada
missed
track crew
the.
people.
I missed the meeting of the show because they were like, "Oh, well, you'll have a couple minutes," because I was going to change into some other pants that I brought, right? And I get out of the bathroom and they've already started the meeting. I'm like, okay. And I knocked on the door a couple times and nobody heard me. So I walk back to the hotel and my flight was, I think, the next day or whatever. And then she's just like, "Where the heck are you?" I'm like, "I'm back at the hotel, gonna come back and watch the show
Crying.
when it's ready." I wasn't crying. And then he's like, "Just get back here." I'm like, "Okay." So I grabbed a cab, went back. It wasn't that far, but it was still like, I just felt embarrassed because it's like, and I guess Bob wasn't having the best weekend ever. He was under the weather, so it kind of made him grouchy. But yeah, that was the story from that. It's not as embarrassing as falling over a set of hockey dashers at my hometown show.
Good.
It could
You
be
did that
worse.
you did that to yourself. I didn't say anything about the dasher board falling.
Hey,
But it's on
everybody
YouTube if you
knows me.
wanna watch it.
Everybody knows me from that, though.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you're the dasher guy.
Yeah, I went down over tea kettle over a dasher.
That's over tea kettle. That's a good one.
You want to tell the story about that, Brad? Just tell the story about it.
Okay, so I'm doing. I think it was my second Throwdown show at the town that I live in the hockey arena. Throwdown really never. It was. I think Grand Prairie is the only hockey arena they ever did. Concrete show. So, Elliot didn't come up to me, but somebody that was working with Elliot came out to me and was like, "Hey, it's your hometown show. You're kind of chasing a dream. How about you come stage trucks?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, are you shitting me? This doesn't happen every day." So they're like, "Yeah, but we want to make sure you can hop over the barrier. I'm 300 pounds, 6 foot tall. So, it's a lot of weight to move around." So I do a couple of practice attempts and I make it over. So first round racing, Trent Montgomery driving Bounty and Matt, trying to remember his name, Matt Brokaw was driving Knucklehead. This was the same weekend that they debuted the 3D Knucklehead in Quebec. So I stays the trucks. I point to where Elliot's throwing the green flag, and I take off running. I'm not stopping. So the inside of my knee catches the dasher, and I just go tumbling over. I pop right back up, though. If you see in the video, it doesn't take me hardly any time. I'm like right back up watching the trucks leave. And I just, I got to stage final round and everything like that, but it was the only time that happened was the first round. And I felt so embarrassed. It's like, this is my hometown show. What the heck?
Well, we have some important questions here, Brad. Brad, any bets on hockey this year? Hashtag eggnog.
Nope.
Okay, that's a no.
Solid. No.
Nope.
I don't want to go
Solid
through
no.
that. I don't want to go through that hell again of having to drink eggnog and feeling like complete ass afterwards.
I told you that was a bad idea from the start, but I give you props. You stuck your guns.
I was a man of my word. I did it. So, the only way that I would do it again, if anything, if Edmonton was
Don't do
first
it
place in the
again.
standing, I'm not
Don't
going to do it again.
again.
But if there was a chance, that would have been that point. And actually,
so I think the only time you would do the eggnog thing is if Edmonton's in the Stanley Cup.
yeah, if they were in the Stanley Cup Finals, that'd be the time that I do it. But that wouldn't. Being an Edmonton Oilers fan is probably just like being, I don't know what a crappy NFL team would be that always breaks your heart.
Detroit Lions.
Damn it, beat me to it.
But with a dynasty,
favorite team, the Cowboys. Wow.
But how about
no.
how about a team that has a dynasty but then has sucked ass over the years?
Detroit.
Okay, so it'd be like Detroit. Okay,
Cowboys.
Here's
Detroit hasn't won anything. They haven't been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Here's an important question: is a hot dog technically a sandwich?
And that's my wife.
No.
I say no.
No, it's a hot dog.
It's a taco.
I say no.
It's an American taco.
Okay.
America.
Does pineapple?
It's
Does
American.
Does
I'm gonna stop you
pineapple?
right there. No, not at all.
No.
No.
Nope.
Am I getting outvoted here?
Yes.
Is this like Survivor? I'm getting voted out of my own podcast.
Yes. Either that or take a drink of eggnog.
I am one of those people where I have like literally an entire farm on my pizza. Like I'm talking like pork, I'm talking beef, I'm talking everything. Like I love Meat Lovers pizza. Not so much
you do,
anything.
Austin. You love the meat lover.
I do. So much. Anyway.
In and around his mouth.
Okay.
Damn it.
Hey.
Okay.
It's my show. I can do whatever the heck I want.
Oh. Denver's joined the chat. Awesome. Hey, Denver.
Oh, he can go along with this.
Now.
So what do you think about Denver? What do you think about Meat Lovers Pizza? Especially in Austin.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, quickly, I actually have to run. I gotta grab some food.
You can walk.
Yeah, it was awesome talking with you
You can
guys.
walk.
Cheech will probably be on here for a little bit longer, but it was awesome talking with you guys. I'm gonna run, get some pizza, and yeah.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, buddy.
Good meeting you, bub.
I just
Dr.
kicked him
Pepper.
out.
Dr.
Oh,
He always
It's
does that.
barbecue water, from what I've been told, and I could not agree more.
really?
What's the difference
I thought you'd
between
be angry at
barbecue?
that one.
I mean, what's the difference between Dr. Pepper and Diet Dr. Pepper?
What is the difference?
What do you mean? What is the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference between Diet and regular Dr. Pepper?
I mean,
That's a
Are
fair
you being
statement.
serious or?
Yes, I am. What's the difference between the two?
One's
You
diet.
know, they
one's
taste
what?
exactly the same.
No.
You know how it is between, between the taste of Diet Coke and Coke. You can tell the difference between the two, but you can't tell the
I don't
difference between
drink Coke or
Diet.
Diet Coke because I don't like the taste of shit
We're not
in my
allowed
mouth.
to have any Coke products here.
I'm more of a Pepsi guy, so I mean,
That's fine.
I could tell the difference between, Pepsi and Diet Pepsi. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, does anyone know the difference between Diet Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper?
I don't know. I actually don't mind Diet Dr. Pepper, but there's definitely a difference in the taste. Coke.
So I'm gonna twist Mike Hedman's question here. Would you rather have pepperoni or Canadian bacon on your pizza?
You mean ham?
They just call it bacon.
AKA they call it bacon, which Canadian bacon and pepperoni is the same thing. So
Literally is.
yeah, why didn't you said ham? I always think
Well,
about the ham chops, the little chopped hams that they put
Oh,
on
yeah.
pizzas. Well, I guess Pizza Hut does that a lot, but and then
They
there's
Big from Toy Story. His name was just called a ham.
You didn't know?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that till just
What? Hey,
recently.
Ham, come over here.
Fun
Yeah.
fact.
Ham the piggyback. Ham the piggyback. Yeah,
Hey,
buddy.
why don't we
Oh.
talk about the Venom camp for just a little bit? I see that they're watching. What's up, Denver? What's up, fam? We let's talk about them for just a minute because I got to meet them up at Austin Spence's wedding, and yeah, they're just awesome people. Never got a chance
They're an
to be
awesome
around
group
them.
of people. That was the first time I met them too.
They're all right. No, Denver's a cool cat.
I love the little like spiel that's going on between them and RJ lately. It's
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been seeing it on YouTube, but
No, I haven't been following it.
RJ ran out of the tunnel recently at their last show with a ladder because Denver was sitting on the hood of the truck trying to help him down.
Oh my gosh.
I think he's still
Oh,
mad at Denver for running into a porta potty.
Oh yeah,
With him
in
throwing it.
Quincy. That was
Yeah.
actually pretty funny. That's funny. We have a question from Scott Bryant. He was wondering, are you guys only on Facebook and YouTube only? Or are you guys going to further out, branch out the other social media platforms? I know you guys do Instagram too, but
Yeah, we do. Instagram's actually one we're most active on,
Yeah.
and I think the reason for that is we would like to be just as active on Facebook. We've got about the same amount of likes on Facebook, but I don't know there's no activity there. So we do a lot of posting on Instagram. Is probably where we post the majority of our stuff, and we're trying to get YouTube, trying to grow that sucker a little bit. So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
I always feel a little like whenever we get a video done, I don't want to be that person that goes to every single monster truck group, whether it's die-cast collecting or models or then and now, and just spamming every single group with our videos because I just don't want to be that guy. But it's like I also want to get it out there.
I do
you
with
have
some
to, you have
stuff
to have
we
it.
talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to be that guy. Just put it out there, all out there.
Yeah,
and
you got to
have
be that
be that
person.
guy,
Yeah.
so I don't have to be that guy.
Okay, no pressure.
Yeah. Well, you have to bring your material out. If no one knows about your material, then no one's gonna know about your material. So you kind of have to shove it in their face pretty much, and let them know. Hey, I mean, most of the time, most of the views that you get in programming is not even directly watching it live. Most of the views that we get are during, whatever time period. I mean, it's just the way it goes, and you just gotta, you just gotta show your product. So yeah, you have to be that guy, Austin. You have to, go all the the crazy super fan pages, and also the diehard monster truck fan pages, and the ones that still believe that you drive the BKT ride truck, and tell them, hey, we're still here.
Not driving anymore, but yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, some people believe that. They don't have to tell the truth. Don't have to tell the truth all the time, Austin. You try the BD? Yeah.
Sure.
But so how do you guys feel about this format, the StreamYard?
It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I really like it. I
Mhm.
like the whole setup.
We
Yeah,
have
I don't see why we
yeah.
couldn't move towards doing something like this.
It's we pay a certain amount, and then we have it on our two platforms. So outside of this right now, we are on YouTube also.
Oh, it's live on YouTube.
Yeah, it's live on YouTube also.
Nice.
So,
And live on
if
Facebook.
yes.
Yeah.
So we're on two formats live. We can add more to it too. So we can even do it on Instagram live. So that's something maybe you guys can do also.
Okay.
That'd be really interesting. Yeah.
Maybe a conversation topic, talk to someone live. I mean, I kind of like what you guys do now with these little videos. Not little, they're like 30-minute long to an hour long videos, but they're still pretty cool to watch and stuff like that. There's a lot of content going on right now, just outside of, we've been BSing for almost 2.5 hours, and we've been studying with between 12 to 20 people. That's still good. I mean, I listen to Josh Rhodes' retro monster truck review. I listen to that more times than my own podcast. I can't even listen to my own podcast. I just can't.
I'll let you in on a little secret, Cheech. I actually do listen to our own show for the sole purpose of hearing how we sound and seeing how we appear, just so we can change some things.
Yeah, I need to do that because when I listen to 5 minutes of hearing my voice, I'm gonna punch myself in the face. That is just, I'm my worst enemy. Like I'm like, ugh, because I catch myself saying and okay, and like I got a question, or I repeat, or saying the same question twice, just trying to be okay. I asked the question. And I'm like, and it's just, I mean, but if it's like the round table or anything like that, I'll listen to myself in general. But a lot of times I just.
Well, what I was going to say was, I mean, that's for anybody that's watching right now. If you can think of just any way that either one of our shows can improve, or some things you want to see us discuss, just something that we can change, I mean, please let us know. I mean, we want to put out the best quality content possible, and we'll do whatever we got to do to fix that.
It's like all of us are doing this out of our own pocket. And don't get me wrong, same thing with Scott Douglas. Scott Douglas has some help, but he's having people help. He's coming out of his pocket, but he kind of was already ahead of us, I guess. In the Josh is doing the retro. They got the toy collection group, and then you got the monster trucks out of the West Coast, and you have different forms of podcasting that's going on. And I love how it's growing and stuff like that, but just different formats, and like I kind of like how your guys' format, because you guys just don't do news, but you guys also voice your opinion that I think some people are kind of afraid of doing. You guys don't care what the consequences is on speaking your mind on what you do like and what you don't like, and I think I personally think that needs to be done.
You want to know where that came from?
Jerry Springer.
No, but good guess.
For the company.
That's it. It was when we worked for the company, we were told, like, you can't do anything, basically. Unless we give you approval, you can't do anything. I put up stuff on my social media, and it was not bashing the company. It was not giving anybody a bad reputation. And I would be told almost immediately, you got to take that shit down. And it would create an itch in me that I could not scratch. So we essentially have no rules on our show, with the exception of don't talk politics and don't say GD, and I don't mean gravedigger. And those are the only two rules that we have. So,
well, did you hear about me? I had to sign paperwork when I started with Feld, because I knew about this podcast, that I wasn't even allowed to be part of it. I wasn't even allowed to even talk about anything. We started in 2014, but we truly didn't start this podcast until I left the company and we started working for Jerry and Aaron back in 2017. That's when the podcast kind of started rolling and blooming. But between the time periods of me starting, because the podcast's idea was starting 2014. I started with Feld in 2014. Between that and when I quit, I couldn't do nothing. Like, he had other guests on, other people to fill in. He had to do his own promotion. It was really, really, really quiet because they didn't want me to talk about anything. They didn't I had to calm down on, conversations on the book's face and the Grahamston, and it was kind of rough on what was going on, but I got written up because of the situation because of that, but that was my fault. Well, someone ratted me out, but anyway, he was a ride truck driver. Anyway, so it is what it is, but it was frustrating. It was frustrating to speak my mind. It was frustrating to do what I needed to do until I left. And then it was kind of even a little bit worse. I mean, I did my podcast and stuff like that, but I couldn't even talk about, congratulations to BJ winning this thing, because
Yeah.
somebody from the toughest tour saw it and told Jerry that what I said. So then they get all butthurt about the situation, and then they had to, tell what's going on, and they're like, I don't like how your crew guy supports Monster Jam, and it's like, I'm not supporting Monster Jam. I'm supporting a very good friend of mine that took me under his wing and helped me out in life. And if I can't support that, then that's all they did. They talk behind your back more than anything else. But that is what it is. I'm done with that. But yeah, it was until and the cool thing about the brothers, Tim and Mark, they're okay with the social media. But I mean, I don't try to name bash or start controversy. I just go along with the flow, and they okay that because they watch it sometimes and they like watching it. So now the ball's rolling, and but outside of that, I kind of dig what you guys are finally doing, and you're finally like letting it out and voicing what you want, kind of pretty much becoming the voice of the voiceless, if you want to think about it like that. I mean, that's
Well, I mean,
cliche, but
when they
there's a
do
lot of
shit
people
like
like that.
that, whenever we worked there, and it was, I'm going to post this, but you got to take it down. All you're doing is adding fuel to the fire because, and this was kind of in the back of my mind. You want to know where Throttle Out came from? The name and the how we run our show was never an actually an idea, but the sole purpose of was, okay, you have this platform, but you're not allowed to talk about it. I don't know. I'm not trying to sound cheesy or anything, but it created a fire inside of me. If I want to get this stuff out at some point, and you know why? Because Monster Jam, you dropped the ball on a lot of shit that fans, that people around the globe would love to know more about the industry. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. Yeah, we're doing we're doing some longer episodes right now, and we're not exactly the sports center type of monster trucks. That's kind of like
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
goal is we want to do that, but we'll get to that at some point.
Right on, right on. And how do you feel about that, Spence?
I mean, I'm 100% agree. I mean, don't get me wrong, working for Monster Jam, I love, being part of the ride truck and everything, but Tweety's absolutely right. If you wanted to say anything or post anything, I mean, I was kind of fortunate because I was kind of like, no one really paid attention to my accounts with the BKT ride truck or Gravedigger ride truck because, you're just the ride truck guy and no one really cares. And then somehow I actually got somewhat of a following because of the ride truck. So I would actually go to shows and there'd be fans that actually knew me because of my Instagram with BKT, going from something that not many people care about and they actually did. And so, it's kind of nice, but, hearing guys like Tweety that they're wanting to post stuff and talk about things or, chit chat with others, like, you have this very short leash. And so, I think it's awesome that we have this platform, and we both obviously have talked that we're not going to go back to Monster Jam. So, but what better way than to just absolutely let loose, pull the chip, and just full speed ahead. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the things that that a lot of people have actually messaged me about is because Tweety's actually wearing one of the shirts I made right there on his in the video. I'm trying to find one of my stickers. Sorry. And so we came up with the slogan after every video is remember when in doubt, throttle out. And we were sticking with that slogan, trying to come up with a design, and I'm just kind of like trying to come up with something. And I saw the old USHRA logo, and under parody clause, we're not in any kind of trouble if someone was to come after us. So I basically try to recreate the USHRA logo somewhat and mimic it a little bit. And we put our slogan in there. We love it. And, it's just, so far I haven't gotten anything from anyone at Monster Jam. So I think we're doing okay. But I just love that we have creative freedom. We can do whatever we want. We can say whatever we want. And I love the controversy. I love dogging on fan judging. I'm sorry for everyone out there that likes fan judging. I hate it. I hate fan judging with a burning passion.
And I
hear you on that.
But,
yeah. Scott Bryant even said, it's the company policy happens everywhere. Right. And, but the company that we're dealing with ain't your average company, Scott.
They're trying to monopolize monster trucks as a whole. So I say, screw the company, support independence.
Hey, look, there's Austin. Okay, Austin's gone. But yeah, it's
I
When
just
in
think
doubt,
it's
throttle the hell out. Yes, yes,
you
Linda.
know,
they
yeah.
like I said, Monster
Like, I
Jam drops the ball on a lot of things. And I look at it as okay, I'm just throwing numbers out here, but let's just say Monster Jam has 100 subscribers on YouTube, which they don't. They have a lot more. But if they have 100 subscribers on YouTube, they could have 200 subscribers on YouTube if they would quit playing the company bullshit of like for a long time they didn't post damage on trucks. Why? Why would you not post that? That's what your fans come to see is destruction and chaos. And then when the damage, oh, we can't report that. You know, here's a fun fact for you, Cheech. I know you love my fun facts this evening. Fun fact: I was at a show as a fan after I had left Monster Jam. Said driver got me tickets to a show. Said driver let me wander around the back as a guest. You know, it's not like I was a stranger to Monster Jam. And I got up in said driver's truck and I took a little video before the show, just goofing around. You know, nobody cared. It wasn't a big deal. And then what do you know? That video's out on Facebook 3 hours later, and I'm told by a manager at Feld that I gotta take that shit down because it's not cool. And so me being me, I was like, well, okay, fine. All it did was eat at me, and now all that stuff is starting to come out. And you know, if I look at it as okay, if I'm Monster Jam, if I'm doing this is what I do. It's my opinion. It's our show. We welcome the controversy. We welcome the comments. It's all a part of it. We're not going to censor you out. We're not going to bleep you out. So
now you can repost that video. I mean, the manager can say all he wants to do, but
yeah,
can't do nothing about it because it's the first right amendment. I mean, everyone throws that card. Might as well throw the card anyway. You know, so it is what it is. But you know, I just try to in our podcast we try to dodge the controversy just in general, because that's how we go. We want to have a party. We're the party bus. You know, everyone tags along, but you got to have. But we made the rules. We dug the hole that we made, and that's how we do it for that one. You guys already welcomed it with open arms. You guys are ready to take that, full strength, and I think that's awesome. That's just, that's my 2 cents, and I think that's, I think it should be interesting how, I think it's be cool for a situation where someone says something and you have the cojones to say, you know what, that's not right, and then or maybe that's pretty cool. But like sounds like you guys are ready to have your ammunition all ready to go and everything like that, So we're cutting to the 2 hour and 30-minute mark. We're gonna close this up here, but is there any social media that people can follow you at? Got a couple of people that are asking about
Instagram
it.
and YouTube. It's all the exact same thing. We keep it real simple for everybody. The Throttle Out Show. It's the same on all platforms.
How about personal?
Mine is
Austin K Tweety on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. If you, I never tweet anymore. I don't know why, but I'm at Kinley's dad on Twitter, and then Facebook Austin K Tweety.
I'm just Harley Johnson everywhere. Instagram, Facebook. Don't have a Twitter. Not as cool as you.
Wow. Okay.
Just just Austin Spence on Facebook, and it's Austin_Spence95 on Instagram. Just kind of occasionally, sometimes it's graphic stuff, sometimes it's just shenanigans I'm getting into on the computer, especially with these guys.
Do you guys have any side projects? Like for me, I got outside the Crush This, I have my RC stuff. So is there any side projects that you guys do that you want to push also that, maybe that's not part of Throttle Out that you guys have going
it's
on?
funny you say that because up until let's see, next Friday, I will have been working a job here since I've moved back to Texas, where I basically just do nothing but work. When you see us doing our Throttle Out stuff, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night, obviously with the exception of today because I got off work early, which rarely ever happens. But I've been working so much, I've not had time for anything except Throttle Out or telling my daughter. So that's about to change because I'm getting a different job. I'm not going to be working as much, so I'm going to have time for some more hobbies and stuff, I'm about to get a gun. I'm about to get my first big boy gun. I'm grabbing a AR-15 here pretty soon. So you're going to see some cool videos of that. I would like to tell you that I play guitar, but the truth is I never play guitar
It's a lie.
anymore.
He never plays it.
Yeah, I don't. And I would like to tell you that I work out. That's also a lie. I don't
That's
do
also a
that
lie.
either.
He doesn't do that.
How about you, Austin Spence?
So
Yes.
I have my wife would argue too many hobbies, too many side projects, but a little thing with a group of friends of mine, it's also on YouTube. It's just kind of a BS thing we do, but it's called Monster Addicts. And basically it's just it's whenever we get on and we play rigs of rods and we have our little events. We do a lot of track. It is so not professional. It's literally just a bunch of couple guys just screwing around, trying to put on somewhat of an event and just having fun. So there's that. And then I have my old high school drag car that I'm slowly trying to get rebuilt to race again. I miss racing. Good friend of mine from high school. He we go way back, but he works for Coletta Racing out of Michigan, down the road to Michigan over here for the NHRA. And he's helped me build a Junkyard 5.3 LS to eventually, hopefully, the main goal is to put an 871 on this LS in this old cop car to take drag racing. So that's the goal with that. But with time and money, and obviously investing most of my time in the Throttle Out show. So, and then other than that, just other projects with Throttle Out is just trying to focus on eventually getting some shirts and stickers out there, like somewhat of some merchandise for us.
Happening.
Nice.
We're working on it. And Cheech, I just gotta say for somebody who isn't actually, the permanent stepmom just yet, Harley is a great stepmom figure to my daughter currently. So here within the next year or so, when we're actually married, and she is technically the stepmom. She's in her spare time. Excellent.
I actually have a question in regards to that. Does Kinley and Harley drive you nuts with any certain Disney movies?
Yes.
Which ones?
When she's here, we just play them all day long.
Yeah, it's just
Is it newer or is it older?
I will
Older.
tell you
It's a
what's
mix between
actually
both.
pretty badass is because we got that Disney Plus. So when we wake up on Saturday mornings and we're gonna come in here and have some waffles and some Cheerios, she wants to watch Goof Troop, which is a cartoon from the 90s. So we'll start off with that, and it evolves into might possibly watch Frozen 1 and 2 3 times in one day.
We watch Frozen at least 5 times a weekend.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Could you
Just
rehearse
let it
the
go,
entire?
man. Let it go.
No, what I got my daughter into was the Frog Leap Studios version of all the Frozen songs, and she actually loves them.
Yes. Cheech, you look confused. Do you not know who that is?
No, I'm confused what podcast I'm on right now. I don't even know if I have this podcast anymore.
Monster Trucks. Hey, Cheech, you want me to hit us with a Throttle Out outro song?
Now we're good. Well, guys, also want to let people know that you can follow me at Dan Agosh on Facebook, Dan Cheech Agosh, and also on Instagram, the same one. I'm on Snapchat and Twitter, but I don't even. The Twitter I only follow is NASCAR news, NHRA news, and that's pretty much it. And
Come on,
WWE.
Cheech, follow me.
I don't follow anyone on Twitter. I just follow. That's how I get my news. Screw NBC, screw CNN, Twitter, whatever. So I'll follow that. Follow Crush This on Facebook and on Instagram and on the tubes of you. And also I normally joke around on the social media too. I always tell them you can write to me and send to me by pigeon, horseback, pen pal, cans of string. I think right now I got a string that's heading towards Austin Spence's house. So you can contact me through there. Horseback, airmail, boat, Even the Plymouth Rock boat, may take 2 months,
Paper.
to help out. Old Dominion Freight, Dayton Freight, Yellow Freight, Snyder, uh, anything, just get a hold of me. But that I don't really joke around about that. But yeah, my social media is on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. Crush This, the same thing too. Follow my RC page on Instagram and on Facebook. Follow Trigger King too. That's where I race at. Also, want to thank the people that help us out on this podcast. High Octane Coffee, Joe Sylvester, and watch for his Outlaw Drags. J Concepts, Jason and Fred make some awesome monster truck bodies, and also outside of that, Monster Truck World help out with the off road and no prep drag racing and stuff like that. So take a look at their stuff. Back Channel Productions, Nick Davis, he does for the Renegade Monster Truck Tour, and also the Outlaw Drags that Joe Sylvester's in. Take a look at all his projects on Back Channel Productions on YouTube. 6B Apparel. My crew shirt's somewhere around there, but that's up for sale. We have the New Wave logo that we have, or we have the old school logo. They're $100 a pop. Contact me or Brad. Also, we have some decals for sale for bucks. We have the old school logo that's on some of the monster trucks right now, but we also got the New Wave that's going to be represented on the Rain Munition truck as of right now. We got hats, we got t-shirts, below the collar, I think is the website, $20 a pop. And it takes about a few weeks to get made. So just give a wait on that. But also, so take a look at that stuff too. Thank you again, Chris from 6B Apparel. JB Scale Graphics, they're officially licensed by Bigfoot, Overkill, Bad Habit, Obsessed, Against the Grain, The Ripper, Heavy Hitter, and much more. He'll do your decals for 10 scale, 5th scale, 8th scale, any scale, except for 1-1. And he also do monster truck flags too. So he has a lot of the old school Bigfoot decals. So take a look at that. And Bradley Shaw Designs, he does a lot of designs for the Renegade Monster Truck Tour. He has designed the Pretty Wicked truck and the Bigfoot Bad Boy monster truck. So take a look at his stuff and all that stuff. So those are the people that help us out. Thank you very much. One more thing I want to ask, if anyone's watching, the awesome 8 people, thank you very much. That's also not talking about YouTube, because the StreamYard doesn't tell you who's watching on YouTube also. So as right now our main platform is Facebook. Giveaways. I talked to the people that are helping me out, and they're wondering about when the next time I do a giveaway. So if you guys want to do a giveaway, let me know. I'll do another question giveaway, and then you guys go ahead and answer away. So we'll see how that goes. Kimberly Cantorn is going to be our next guest of the podcast. She's a announcer for the Monster Jam Triple Threat AT4 tour that she was with us, and she's going to be our guest. She was also a previous cheerleader for the New York Jets, which is pretty cool. So we could probably talk about football also. So that's about it. About 30 minutes ago, Brad left because he wanted to go. And that's the awesome side of having a co-host. He just wants to leave whenever. So whatever, he's the owner of it. But but anyway, guys, before we head out, anything else you guys wanted to say?
Remember, when in doubt, throttle out. Peace out.
Okay. Anyway,
That's a great response.
Yes.
Well, I am gonna be heading out here, but take a look at their shows. Before, actually, on a serious note, when can people catch videos? Is there like a certain day you guys release new material, or is it just whenever?
Right now it's whenever, because like I said, my current job schedule, but I feel like that will definitely change now that we're going to have some more time. Austin Spence going to have some more free time on his hands as well. He's getting a new job. It's all to kind of center us around about being around family more and being able to do more for the show. So weekly releases on videos, just no set day or time yet.
Okay, cool deal. All right, guys. Well, for our saying is keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. You guys have a good night and peace. I don't know if I ended it.
We're
It's
still
still